Stocks back to the upside here this morning to kick things off in a brand new week ahead of key jobs data to come at the end of this week. A lot of people are going to be paying attention to the market, going to be paying close attention to that when it comes along. We'll talk about that coming up. Just keeping my eye on this one. That's Beyond Meat right now. Beyond Meat executing a senior note exchange to the tune of about $800 million, saying they're going to pay down their debt using that, the proceeds from that. So big move down here. It just went $3 all the way down to $1.60 for Beyond Meat. So we'll keep an eye on that coming up. A number of other things to touch on this morning. More headlines involving Boeing. Not really moving around here so far this morning, but one of the names in the move, or one of the names in the news this morning is, I mean, we can just put weed in general, but cannabis right across the board, moving to the upside on MSOS, I guess the best one to look at here. On these headlines from the Trump administration talking about the senior aspect or the possibility of benefits coming through for the senior aspect of cannabinoids. So here we go. There's $5 right now for MSOS. Been a while since this thing's been up here. Looking pretty good to start things off. And I feel like we haven't talked about cannabis stocks in general, individually, for a long, long time. So a lot of these, as everyone is well aware, beaten down severely. So lots to cover. Nike earnings coming up tomorrow after the close. So decent earnings day we'll get tomorrow as well. Yeah,
should be able to see if they're starting to recover a little bit with their China strategy.
Yeah.
But just to build on your point there with respect to weed, the biggest quarterly gain ever for the ETF, MSOS, it's up 70% in the quarter, Brendo. So good strength there. We'll keep an eye on that. There's also separately a military headline as well, as the Trump administration looks to sort of restock their missiles. And so Lockheed, Boeing, a lot of these military names all getting a nice pump here in the pre-market. Also in focus, Electronic Arts could possibly be going private, $50 billion deal. That would be one of the biggest on record, Brendo. And Wells Fargo getting a downgrade today from a cohort, Morgan Stanley, saying, you know, the asset cap's already priced in. They don't see too much of a nice runway ahead.
What was it? I was just seeing here, $210 potentially for EA.
Yeah, not too bad at
per
all.
share. So if you're a shareholder on that, you probably like that news and headline so far today. The military headline this morning was kind of interesting from the aspect that they pointed towards China.
Yes.
As a potential reason for this, or a primary reason for this restocking to be needed. But I mean, let's just set aside everything else that's going on in the world and focus on China.
You know what? Apparently this morning I was listening to rumors that President Xi could ask President Trump at an upcoming meeting. I think they're going to meet in South Korea. For him to make some certain declarations or statements on Taiwan and its independence or lack thereof. So we'll have to see about that, Brendo. But yeah, the Pentagon apparently is urging contractors to double or quadruple production of 12 critical missile systems, including the Patriot interceptors, long-range anti-ship missiles. So interesting here for RTX, Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, all of them up nicely here in the pre-market.
Yeah, not really a way to start the week, but yeah, as you said, all of those moving to the upside. I don't know, everything's not working. So MSOS, guys, to the upside. We have Beyond Meat getting absolutely cracked right now to the downside. Again, if you missed that headline, they're executing a senior note exchange to the tune of about $800 million, saying they're going to use that to pay down debt. Happy Monday.
Yikes. Not a happy Monday for Beyond Meat shareholders.
47%.
Cut in half. Beyond Meat.
Oh, boy.
Yikes. That's not too good at all, unfortunately, for them. That Boeing, that EA, that EA deal, it is confirmed. It's $210 in cash. The expected close is not until the first quarter of 2027. So that would seem to me like a pretty, that would seem to me like 204 would be pretty darn good. If they're not expecting this to close until, you know, going like well past next year, like into the early 2027, you're getting a pretty good risk-free return at 204. But yeah, that's not very good for Beyond Meat, unfortunately. But the weed names are up, so at least there's some people that are going to be happy there. Got tlry, at least a little, get the tlry a little bit on the mind here, up 20%. But what a month! I had no idea that MSOS was doing quite that well, the cannabis ETF, although this is pulling back 19% today. And not terribly bad of a run here for some of the weed names because the president's in on CBD oil. So, look, happy Monday, everybody. If you're a Bills fan, you're happy. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you're happy. Number one.
Packers fan, not really. Yeah, thankfully the Blue Jays, oh my God, what a stressful day that was. And thankfully they won, they swept. So they did what they needed to do. Did New York win yesterday? I didn't even see.
Yankees won.
Okay.
Yankees won.
Oh man,
Didn't matter.
Yeah, we were too busy. I was too busy to pay attention. But yeah, Packers barely pulled out that tie last night. That was disgraceful.
That was wild.
Yeah, that defense is not what I thought it was going to be yesterday. So we'll wait. But 2-1-1. 2-1-1.
Ties suck. But
better than losing. I mean, before.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, just in general for the game. Like,
yeah, well.
They should do the college system.
Time. Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could. They could go a little bit deeper than that. Bitcoin, 12,000, not too bad. So IBIT, looking at that today, should be talked about there for sure. What's up, Sebastian? What's up, everybody else? Yeah, Philadelphia Eagles still remain undefeated. The cream of the crop, I think, right there. 63.8 right now for IBIT, up 3%, so that's nice. So here goes Bitcoin. We talked about it trying to hold 110. It looks like it does that in spades there. It gets up to 112. So we're excited for that play as well. As you mentioned, many of the marijuana names. Tesla also today trying to move around as we wait for their deliveries coming through. That should be a big number as well. Tesla right now trying to break back above some of these concerned areas of 440. So look, let's see, like 450 coming right back in again. It looked like we were going for a dip and now we're right back up again. So some levels being taken out. Amazon back up at 1% as well here this morning. So yeah, stocks moving around in a good way, it looks like. Even Nvidia. Intel, the only name that's down, which is one that I think is technically a level to be worried about. Look, we're really happy with Nvidia. That recent buy has been doing pretty good for us. And then INTC, our recent sell of Intel as well, has done pretty good. We talked, I mean, you know, we were wrong when we sold some at 31. Whoops, we were wrong when we sold some at 31, and I'm happy to be wrong again. We took 74% on, again, I just sold another 20% of it, so I have 60% left of this. But Intel came right up again, right into some sell zones right here on Friday. We were talking about that, and now it's just pulling back a little bit as Taiwan Semi says, yeah, maybe not so much right now, being interested in this space. So in them. So we'll see what happens with Intel. Looks like they're going to the downside. So yeah, man. Oh, someone just said Marvell. I didn't even look at Marvell today. What is it doing? Oh, 83. Yeah. So Marvell, again, similar top. Just broke above that 80, and now it's trying to figure itself out. And even here on Marvell, see, it's the same situation. So I didn't sell any of Marvell, though. Maybe we'll have to get some out. That's a pretty big epic run there as well. So, all right, that's about that going on. You were at the game on Saturday, I saw? So
Saturday we were at the game. Sunday,
won that
my roommate was there. But, man, it's already a playoff atmosphere.
Yes, I think it's been like that for a while.
It really has. The last couple of weeks. I can't wait till this weekend. We'll be there Saturday.
Oh, yeah. When is it? Is it Saturday?
Yeah, like the Yankees in Boston play this week, the 3-game series for the wild card. Then the Jays will host the winner, obviously, Saturday and Sunday.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, we're locked and loaded, man.
Well, we were just talking about that. I said, when was their first game? I guess it's Saturday.
Saturday.
Because the Yankees
don't know who we're playing or what time.
We won't know yet. So there's a 3-game mini series, the Sox and the Yanks, and we play them. So we get the bye.
Yep.
We get home field advantage.
Yeah, we'll get home field. Yeah.
So I mean, we're looking pretty good. We need time to rust up, and you know the boys are a little banged up.
Get the pitching healthy.
That's right. So go Jays.
Yeah, a week off is good. Sometimes they say that's almost too long.
No,
I think it's okay. It's not that bad.
Only 3 days.
5 days.
Yeah. They get all this week, and then so it's 6 days.
I'll be pulling for the.
I was gonna say, who do we think we want?
No,
you don't want to face Crochet though.
Look, you don't want to play the Yankees.
No, their bats will.
I don't want to play the Yankees.
I don't want to play the Yankees either, but I don't want to play the Red Sox.
Oh, a name that's up that
I want to play like
that we haven't talked about.
Indians.
Alibaba.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
3.5 points.
Love that stock.
To the upside. So after 3 days, gap up and 3 days of fade last week, Baba could be back on the warpath on the path to the upside. I shouldn't say warpath, but back on the path to the upside. Yeah, maybe needs a consolidation day, but watch out for that 180 this week. Super strong name, Alibaba. breaking out. These are not all-time highs, just 52-week highs in here for Alibaba. One that we should have on the radar as well. But, lots to talk to. I think we should have Michael coming on through.
Ooh, okay.
And wow, Tesla just broke 445.
Yeah, Tesla's a beast.
And Tesla is continuing to rally. I just looked up and saw that Tesla's continuing its breakout. Another 1 point today. We wait on some deliveries, but Tesla waits on apparently nobody to start the breakout trend today. Yeah, I'm definitely not thinking short. I just saw Russ About asking someone in the chat if they're thinking about short Tesla today. It's not on my radar, I can tell you that much. Let's get back to the desk and get the party started.
All right, I wanted to mention the monthly. We're 2 days away. This is the second last trading day of the month. If we rewind the clock going back to the end of August, we were talking in depth about the simple fact that as a month, historically, September has been notoriously not that great, mostly negative right across the board. 4.5% right now for the Nasdaq.
Bad, Brendo.
2.5%-ish for the S&P 500. If I said that to you last week of August, I think you would have taken that no problem and 100%. Said, let's go to October.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the earlier, if you look historically, the earlier part of October is usually a bit of a down month, and then we recover second half through. But what we've been talking a lot about this. There was a huge pull forward in April. Let's not, underplay this. We were off like 15, 20% off the highs. Huge. So, if there was going to be some seasonality, we would have maybe pulled some of that forward, retraced a lot more than we typically would have, and so maybe we don't get that seasonality this year, or we don't get it as deep as we typically do, Brando, before we get into that Santa Claus rally. So interesting look.
We're in that spot where, and Michael Noss was kind of pointing to this back on Friday, we're in that spot where, yes, the market's continuing to go up, and you can point to a million different reasons as why, it's continuing to point up. But I think the bigger point, the bigger lesson here is just don't fight it at this point. There's no point in fighting it. And yes, 4.5% is a pretty big month here, guys, for the Nasdaq specifically for September.
Specifically for any month. 4% up times 12.
You do that.
If like Brendan said, if I told you would get 4% at the beginning, what? If you told me you get 1% at the beginning of every single month, I would sign up for that. 12% a year. I would roll it out for that every single year for the rest of my life, and then I would just take 12%, put that in the bank, put it all in the S&P 500, put it all in the Nasdaq, whatever.
Unfortunately.
I'd be completely happy with 12% a year. But now you get 4% a month in what has been a seasonally bad month. So that's part of the story here. But I think it's because we're not getting any negative news. The tariffs seem to keep getting pushed forward there. I don't think there's any problems there. I think there's the only problem that I can see is maybe in retail. We've seen Costco get hit a little bit there. We saw bad print from Lululemon. We have Nike coming through this week as well. So maybe there's some problems there. And then maybe the job market. But again, I think it's a little bit of a funny month because it was also not typical of September. We get the start of the rate cut cycle now as well. So if Powell would have thrown some cold water on that decision and not cut rates, then obviously I think we would have had a little bit of a different push forward here. But
you could argue some of the Fed speakers recently might be throwing some cold water on more cuts. You could make that argument as well, but it doesn't seem to stop the runaway freight train. Earnings, AI growth, all that stuff is fueling what has been an unbelievable rally. But, this is how things go. You know what? The monthly chart's not what I want to look at. I'll show a weekly chart is a little bit better of an example. Sort of on the cues. It actually has not been, what's the word I want to use here? It hasn't been a crazy, crazy rally since when we broke out the highs. That happened, although that happened in June. But it hasn't been a crazy rally. It's just been, we had come off a dip, and so the last 3 weeks have all been ham. Really, and that's almost the entirety of the move since the break of the high when you think about it. So it's more of a timing thing that makes that number seem super impressive. But this is what bull markets do. When we pull back and you get these really big pullbacks, you got to take advantage of them. I think we're probably due for some kind of a small dip, but it's been easy to have said that the last little bit here. We'll see how this month closes out. I know a person who's always interested in how the month closes out for those monthly candles is the Nos boss. Let's see what he has to say.
All right, let's get to Michael Noss, Monday morning here. We'll bring him in. Mr. Noss, I apologize. I don't think I have your slides available here, so take a second, shoot those to me, and we'll get those going here. But, I mean, give me your thoughts, first of all, on maybe just jumping into this conversation we were just having. You know, if we rewind the clock going back to, you know, the end of August, we were sitting here a couple of times probably talking about the simple fact that, you know, yes, historically, September is a volatile month, typically on the negative side of things. Here we are with 2 trading sessions left, and not only are we positive, but decently so.
Yeah, and, you know, so I talk a bit about seasonality, and the reason that I'm not as keen on seasonality when it comes to, you know, sell in May and go away and things like that is that the odds are really slim, and it doesn't really make sense to me why. So if I can't really hammer down on something that makes sense, it's harder for me to do. And then it's how do you chop up the seasonality reports when it comes to just a month? So, you know, I did a little bit of a study and just looked at, okay, well, it's, you know, 55% of the time we're down, which means 45% of the time we're up. And then from that, we are, if you're above the 200-day moving average, it just completely flips. So it gets hard to kind of chop and slice and kind of put through different, yes, you know, but the MACD is higher. So how does that change things and this and that? And part of the problem I have with that is number of occurrences where, yes, you have a fair amount, but it's just not enough, I think, to kind of chop that data too finely and too much there. So, yeah, so I'm more interested. I know Sharif just mentioned the Santa Claus rally. That kind of seasonality makes way more sense to me because there's a reason behind it. It's like taxes. So taxes are going to force our hand, just like elections are going to force our hand and things like this. So unless I can really kind of put my finger on why, it just becomes hard to really believe in that seasonality.
All right, ahead of your favorite time of the month where we get to look at monthly candles once again, where are we as a whole here as far as the market is concerned? I mean, it looks like you have some weekly candles prepared here. I mean, it looks a little bit kind of back and forth, even though we are gapping up this morning here.
Yeah, and you know, I think Neil nailed the quote directly when he said this is just what bull markets do, right? We're on our 6th month up in a row, and that becomes interesting. And to be honest, it becomes really hard to come and do kind of content because I've been pounding the table quite a bit about the reason why I think we're up so much, and that's just because of this massive short float that's in the futures underlying. But now is a lot of time where CMTs and nerds like myself, we have to say, okay, where do we put our money? Because the markets, we're obviously in a screaming bull market. No one knows when the screaming bull market will end, so we should be invested. So now it becomes kind of a little bit of a shell game of where do we think the relative strength is. And one simple way to do that I want to talk about with the listeners is just looking at the candles each week and just see which of those sectors or which of those areas had the best week and closed strong. And I think the easiest time to do it is in candles like this or red candles, where last week I have highlighted last week's candle. And you can see we pretty much did nothing, right? We were down a little bit, we were up a little bit, and that creates this doji candle where our open and our close are pretty much exactly right. Now, if you go down to the next chart here, this is XBI or the biotech sectors here, and a little bit different, same weekly chart, and you can see that we basically the open was the low, and then we screamed and we closed at the highs. So if I'm looking for relative strength, that's one easy way to do it and say, okay, biotech seem relatively strong to some of the other sectors and to the overall market. So the next chart is just a 30-minute chart of comparing the two. And this is for when you're looking for relative strength. This is another good way to do it, where in TradingView and TrendSpider and a lot of charting softwares, you can just do one ticker divided by the other ticker. So this is the biotechs versus the S&P 500. And if you zoom way out on this chart, you can see the S&P 500 has been beating the pants off biotechs for a very long time. It's not been a good sector to be in, but it's starting to kind of have that smiley face, rounded bottom look. And there's a clean area here where if we break out, that could really mean that this biotech sectors continue. And I've got some ideas from there for you guys, but I really just wanted to point out that as long as we're in a screaming bull market, we should be looking to, buy dips. We should be looking to buy breakouts. And the question for me is always just more, well, what do I buy? So these are just exercises to say, I want to be in the strongest names at the time, because if this is going to continue, we're going to see this rotation all the time where, Nvidia hasn't gone anywhere forever, but, there might be other Intel, for example. So within sectors, you can have rotation. Amongst sectors, you can have rotation. And if the biotechs are really going to kind of take hold and be the next leg higher, these are some names that look interesting to me. I think I brought CRISPR when I was talking about Kathy Wood, I thought, because this chart was all annotated when I brought it up. That's how I knew I was talking about it. But it's very interesting. At Stats Edge, we have an algo to buy things as they're breaking their all-time high VWAP. And you can see that pink or purple line is the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. So if you started buying CRISPR at the worst possible time, you're pretty much right there now as an average price. And you can see how this has acted as resistance pretty much since that 2021 high. And we're kind of basing right below it. So this is part of this XBI or this biotech sector. I just went through the list to find these names. So around $70, this one looks a little bit interesting. Again, if we believe that the biotechs are going to take hold here. And then last but not least here, we have mRNA. This is more for, I guess, the dumpster divers. I've been very fascinated with these low bases that stocks are holding. They were kind of priced to die. And if this one's not going to, if it's going to hold this 24 area, this could be interesting. This chart kind of reminds me a little bit about Intel, where Intel spent a year or so just in this base and then, end up breaking out and having some positive news to break it out. So this is a dumpster diver play, but the thing I like about it is that the resistance is so strong that that if we break down under here, it's probably time to go. And so you get a really tight risk here, but just wanted to point out that, again, you zoom out on the Moderna chart, it's not a pretty sight from 2021 till now. So this one's a little bit more dumpster diver, but this is what I'm spending my time doing is I'm just going and saying, where are the strongest sectors out there? Maybe I take some profits and some things that are high flyers and redistribute those into whatever I think will cause the next lag while we wait for something to put an end to this freight train of a bull market.
Yeah, I think it's easy to overthink and overanalyze and come up with reasons as to why it shouldn't and why it should type of thing. I mean, Sharif just made a great point. Like a stock like Moderna, for example, mRNA, if they could just change the narrative a little bit, and get away from that 2020, 2021 focus and maybe shift their attention to, cancer, something that is, affecting everybody and needs to be focused on tremendously more than anything else. I think that's an opportunity there as well. Great stuff as always. Happy Monday, Mr. Noss. We'll see you after the close.
I'll see you after close. Happy Monday.
Thank you, Michael. And yeah, happy Monday for sure. Man, I hope all the best for Moderna shareholders as well. And maybe they'll get some happier Mondays if they do shift the narrative. But you know what? I think the thing about it is, if a stock finds a bottom, it almost doesn't take much. And this is like the umpteenth time. You can count how many times this is tagged 24 and kind of broken $24 and managed to get back above it. Certainly at least half a dozen times here. And maybe the worst is in for these guys. What I look for, and I think we talked about Moderna it might have been a couple of weeks ago, we were making the same point. Yeah, sure, this might be the low. But the day it closes that 50 period again, I think it's worth a shot. When it breaks out, if it breaks out 27, I shouldn't say when, if it breaks out 27, then you've got a chance to be in long and giving it to the low, which is not that bad when it comes to risk, because you're essentially going to be risking 10 to 15% worth of risk to play it as it's coming off the bottom. So yeah, Moderna's on the radar for one of those, it's not a rounded bottom like this, just hold the low and then see where you can go. But I do like that look, as long as it can hold this 23 change on mRNA. It's technical more than anything else. It needs a heck of a lot to go well for it. We got some upgrades and downgrades to get to. I think we'll go to Mr. Options.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a solid weekend. Now, let's take a look at what we got going on here with the upgrades and downgrades. Guys, at the top of the list here, we have Citizens Financial Group getting the nod by Morgan Stanley, getting that price target raised to $71, and it's up 1.3% on the session. Now, as for Lam Research, also getting the nod, Deutsche Bank raising that target to $160, and then Ivanhoe Mines getting the nod by Citigroup, no specific target on that one. Now, Goldman Sachs is going to a buy here and raising the price target from $11 to $12 on Ford. And then as for Novo Nordisk, getting a downgrade this morning, guys, by Morgan Stanley. Price target lowered to $47. Now, Western Alliance Bank by Wells Fargo and Company getting that target lowered to $90. And then Moonlake Therapeutics, damn, down 88% on the session, getting that target lowered to $81, which is trading substantially lower than that target right now. And then as for Waterdrop, $2 price target, small cap land, definitely Sharif's world there, guys. Goldman Sachs lowering that price target. Now, as for some of the options activity last week, guys, this is going to be this week's expiration cycle. If you take a look at the iShares Silver Trust SLV, nothing substantial, but some relative volume coming in through there, guys. And if you look at it this morning, a nice move to the top side. So we got 12,300 contracts were traded on that Friday session. Again, this is for this week's expiration cycle. Now, as for strategy, yes, we had 25,600 contracts traded at that 310 strike price, and about 1,700 contracts still currently open. Look for that to grow in size throughout the week. And then Open Door putting in quite a bit of volume on Friday as well, too, guys, at that $8.50 strike price with 146,000 contracts traded and 95,700 still currently open. That's what we got on the calls and the upgrades and downgrades, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. And that Moonlake, let's just say, yeah, they had a disastrous autoimmune drug failure, which is usually the reason you'll be down 88%. And anytime these companies probably have like a single drug in the pipeline, this is what can happen. Well, I'm speculating they don't have anything but this autoimmune drug, because why else would it go down like 90%? And so the downgrade is probably the least of their worries at this particular moment. Maybe this gets a dead cat bounce. There's a lot of volume already this morning, but maybe worth keeping an eye on. But that's not looking good for Moonlake Therapeutics.
No, it's a bad one here. And then this, I don't have any details on this, but this one's going crazy as well. Mizumi Group right now, an ADR by Mizumi Group is all that it says. Right here, I don't have a float, I don't have anything on this name at all, but here we go. So it's starting to get to the upside right now. I don't see, there's no news on this, or I don't know, unless it's just not working, but I'm not seeing anything down here. Japanese manufacturer, components and parts automation process. So there goes Mizumi Group right now, Mizuming to the upside. So a little bit of a look there. We'll find out how much it is maybe to borrow these shares short, but there it goes, huge upside move for MSS. And this is the past daily chart. Now you're way above. This is just what it's been looking like. So yeah, breaking $1 here, getting up to 6, pretty smooth. Wow. All right, the day continues with many other ripping and roaring stocks. We did see that downgrade for Novo Nordisk. So checking on Eli Lilly, still 725. It's all good. Oh, there it is. MSS had a $7 million private placement. Okay, with a $3 million float. All right, yeah. So I don't know why that wasn't updating. I don't think our Benzinga Pro is updating very good. So we'll get some more news sources going for that one. And of course, Adair will be joining us for everything as well. All right, the watch list is coming through. Make sure you do grab that. Right now, QR code there, not there, but it's there. Get the link in description as well. Let's go find out what the markets are up to. Another blast off here. As Brandon mentioned, the market's already up pretty huge this month. Looks like we're going to top it off with another big day.
All right, yeah, let's get right into things. A lot to know here this morning.
66.96, guys. That's where we closed out on Friday on the ES December contract. So we just missed that 6,700 point area, but we are well above 6,700 here. Already trading at 67.33 with the overnight high 67.36. So here's the deal. Remember back on the 22nd, we rejected 67.50. We're looking now to that area as resistance, Brendo. We're looking at 6,700 flat as support.
Watch some of the movie producers or studios, maybe. Trump on Truth Social now talking about the movie industry and 100% tariff on foreign movies. May not be affecting anything stateside, but just keep an eye out for that. Again, new truth from Donald Trump talking about the movie industry. Let's talk about weed. Bright and early on a Monday morning. MSOS up huge here this morning. Yeah, and guess why? Trump is talking about weed.
Yeah, he's highlighting some of the potential healthcare benefits. Brendo, it was Tylenol last week. Now it's weed this week. He's highlighting the healthcare benefits of hemp-derived cannabinoid for seniors, framing it as a possible alternative to prescription drugs. He reiterated the plans that we already knew about reclassifying marijuana, which could ease criminal penalties and reduce regulatory burdens. Cannabis ETF MSOS surged 25.25% this morning, and it's on pace for its biggest quarterly gain ever. If we close out the quarter and they hold, Brendo, we're going to be up 70% on the quarter. Analysts noted Trump's remarks could provide long-awaited relief for the sector, which has been battered by losses. And there's some benefits financially, Brendo, from the reclassification from a Schedule 1 to 3. Right now, it would remove... if you were to reclassify to 3 from 1, it would remove harsh tax burdens, allowing cannabis companies to deduct business expenses. They can't do that right now. It could also potentially pave the way for potential tax reform. More U.S. listings coming online that are currently staying in the private market, which could, give the broader sector legitimacy. So not a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much in the way of individual names that are maybe volatile enough at this point because they're all around $1. Here's Tilray right now, $1.30 up big time. But I mean, even if you just zoom out, look at the ETF, $5 here. A decent move here so far this morning, guys. Thoughts on cannabis today?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Tilray is if you're like a day trader, you're probably happy with 20%. But if you're an investor in stock, you're probably like, oh, well, the 20% doesn't really do much of anything if you've been holding it for a while. That said, Tilray, remember a couple of weeks ago, we were like, oh, Tilray broke the dollar level. After it broke $1, it held $1 exactly. Literally the $1 level became support. It's bounced a couple times. And then recently, going into, all of last week, 115 held. So $1, 115, and it had 130 resistance. So that's every 15 pennies. So if it can hold, all it has to do to me is hold 130 at the open. And I think even an inside day gives you a shot of 130 into the low 140s, like 145. And if it breaks out. So I'll have this one open at the open. I'll have this one up at the open, and all I'm looking for is 130 to hold, even if it's just like a 31, 32 play, and then look for some continuation here. And obviously, this is a name that can go crazy and squeezing. I'm not really seeing anything like that. So I'm going to play the support and resistance game. If it worked at $1 for a couple of days, let's see if it can work at 130.
Yeah, I think just investing in MSOS is probably the right thing to do. So, investing in these individual names, I'm not sure who's going to win or not win in this cannabis race. I just know that individual stocks have been getting crushed. So I look at an ETF and think about the same thing. Like this was $11 back in May of 2024, back, and then you give it to May of 2025, $2. And then you look back to where we are right now, even this month, it's kind of hard to say because the beginning of this month, we were kind of up here. We're still red on the month. I mean, this is going to put us pretty close to being back to break even. What about just this kind of a break right here? 6. I know that's a far way away, and I know it might not be there today, but unless you can get this name back to 450, 420, kind of where we were on Friday, that would be the spot. Because now, if you just say and this is an extended garbage period, but if you the garbage man cometh right into here, and you say, okay, we get all that stuff out of here, and then we move on, then I think that this would be a decent base area here to say, okay, if we're wrong, maybe we get out around $4, maybe we even get out around 350 or so, if we can break through this 200 period moving average. But it looks like pretty standard right there. I mean, I don't think investing in the space, it's just, I don't know where the profits are going to come from. I think you got to have either retail, the multi-state operators, things like that will wind up working out. I don't think tlry or some of these growing, the cannabis growers are going to be the right spot. So we'll wait to see where it goes from here. But yeah, a reclassification only helps the space. So I would say maybe you get really excited at 4, and maybe you dip buy at 4 and get really excited if it breaks 6. So I think that's right now we're kind of in the middle right here. So it reminds me a little bit of Intel, where you based out for a while, then we popped, we came back in, we popped again, we came back in, and now we're trying to pop on a little bit better news here. So let's just wait to see. I mean, ultimately, if you wait for the classification of the drug to be lowered, then it's going to be up here somewhere. So you got to decide what your play is, I feel like, around now. And that's why if it does come back in, you can have your easy outs. Buy this thing at 4, out at 350. I think that's worth it, better than holding the bag minus 95%. So I would play aggressively with MSOS, and I still think there's a lot of opportunity. Up 21%. I'm going to fade pops for today, but when we break 6, I think we go long.
All right, AI back higher here this morning across the board the past couple of days, going into the weekend anyways. This group as a whole, part of the reason the market was so weak heading into the weekend, look at QCOM, look at Nvidia, look at really anything you want in this sector. And part of this had to do with the OpenAI deal, 100 billion or whatever it was. A lot of analysts quick to point out the simple fact that at some point this gets to a point where it's just too much.
Yeah, it's getting really aggressive, Brendo, whether it's from OpenAI or Nvidia and how they're expanding. You know, I watched an interesting video on the weekend where someone, a TikToker, made the kind of the joke reference about Nvidia investing in all these AI companies or AI adjacent companies as an infinite money glitch. I get $100 billion, I give it to you, you buy back $100 billion worth of products for me, and all of a sudden I've got my money back. It's obviously a lot more nuanced than that, but it should give you some food for thought. Separately, Brendo, there was the semiconductor possible tariff plan on Friday, that 1-to-1 that we spoke about. So companies could face tariffs if they don't manufacture the same number of semiconductors in the U.S. as they import from overseas, effectively creating a 1-to-1 domestic import requirement. No more information than what we got on Friday about that.
Be prepared for maybe some higher prices at IKEA. Trump on Truth Social right now. I will be imposing substantial tariffs on any country that does not make its furniture in the United States. Details to follow. Just blanket.
IKEA, it's all over for IKEA, Brendo.
Yeah. Let's talk AI for a little bit here. On watch this week for me, well, Intel as well, but in the AMD, right? So, AMD's had a seller. I think we've all been able to see this specifically on this stock at 162 to 164. So I always look at it when it's kind of this obvious. If it plays into 62, then look for a short. If it breaks out 62, usually it's had a turnaround or some kind of a crazy wick into 63, 63.5. So that's my first look, is to play off of that, like fade this potential failed breakout every single time that it happens. And it's not like Nvidia is any different. And Nvidia's got 185, which seems to be a bit of a problem. The difference with Nvidia today versus AMD is Nvidia looks like, while you've got that hard line of resistance on AMD, Nvidia's a bit of a different story in that it's got like a kind of a weird rounded bottom going into a potential 181 break. So it's weird to even be thinking about that, where AMD looks like a fade off that 62 level, whereas like Nvidia looks like a semi-breakout. I say semi-breakout because its resistance is sitting here chilling at 184 to 185. So that 81, to me, only gives you a few bucks, and then you've got that resistance up top. So Nvidia is almost like a weird breakout at 81, and then you got AMD, which I'm fading at that 62, and then again at 64.
All right, I have written down here on the note, same kind of thing for Nvidia, 178 to 179 long. I just think the continuation now, moving forward here on on Nvidia. Like it's a really strong name, right? I mean, I think that we've seen that. I understand what Sharif's saying. I don't really understand some of the recent deals there, whoopsies, with CoreWeave or anything like that. But I still think that we are on a path to try this one more time. And I think this time when it breaks, we do make new all-time highs and go to 190 or maybe even 200. So try to build off this support rate now. You know, interest rate cut environment is here. They keep on selling. Their upgrades coming for Nvidia. Bouncing off the 50-period moving average really looks like a pretty sweet hold in and around this 170 area. So I think the king of the castle continues to rise up there for NVDA. The one break that I was looking at, and I'll talk about, do we have Intel on there? No. Was also Marvell, I think, with some great news last week at the JP Morgan conference, was upgraded there as well. Came through, there's their miss. There's just a resurgence of their business model back to the upside as everything, the picks and shovels and the AI continue to work out. I think Marvell is about to break through as well. We hit this long yesterday, last week, 85.50 right there, pretty smooth. I like that one if we can break. And then we did sell some Intel last week, right? I mean, we talked about, again, selling at 30.70, we sold at, and then we sold last midday on Friday. And so I have this also as a sell. So we sold into here during our lunch break. I think it was 30. I think it was 30. Let's just say 35.70. Whatever. I'll just give myself. So 30.70, 35.70 out. A little bit more out of Intel as that continues to go down. And this is also written on my list here today for INTC, and it's actually going the other way, right? It's short. So if we can short into that area that was the top on Friday, we can get out. Like, we were wrong. We actually had the short written down on. Actually, I don't know if we had it written down on Friday or not, but I think we had it written down maybe on Thursday, and it blasted through early. And, oh, you can't see it right here. Blasted through early, so we were able to get out of that short. But I think the same thing here, and I do not think that Intel gets up to this level. So I think you're going to probably want to short around 35.50. We're just watching that out. So it's between 35.50 and 36. If Intel gets going and just starts screaming up there, then I think that that's an easy short, in case there's more information coming, right? Like, we could get more information about anything on this Intel front. So, you know, maybe TSM agrees with this deal and puts some money into it. I don't know, but I think it looks like smart money's pulling a little bit out of Intel here today, down 3%.
On to Tesla here, back to session highs. Nice move to the upside past 15 minutes, half an hour or so. We're trying to clear this. If you go back to, I guess that's Thursday after the close, or Wednesday after the close, Thursday pre-market, decent level here, 445 up to 450. I mean, there's not much in the way of news on Tesla this morning, a couple of analyst notes as well, but 2 days in a row here, looking pretty good.
Yeah, and we're getting real close to the expiry of the EV tax credit, $7,500, Brendo, federal EV tax credit. So Tesla reminded North American buyers to lock in purchases before September 30th to qualify for that $7,500 EV tax credit. The company posted on X stressing that only 2 days remain to secure the credit. The urgency is tied, obviously, to Tesla's Q3 delivery numbers, which are expected by analysts to exceed forecasts. And so the IRS is allowing you to kind of work your way around these the ending of the $7,500 tax credit. So they're going to allow customers to still qualify for the credit even if the delivery occurs after September 30th, provided there's a nominal payment, like a down payment, is made before the deadline. Tesla aligned its policies, Brendo, with this update, noting that vehicles scheduled for later delivery still need a binding purchase agreement before the 30th to qualify for $7,500.
If you go back to a daily chart here, you got to go all the way out to end of January, beginning of February. We're clearing this last problem spot here. A nice tight consolidation, guys. Gapping above that right now for Tesla.
Yeah, I think that's what has to hold in the way back. Like, we're now actually breaking out last week's highs. So, you know, that takes you to another level on Tesla, like it or not. Like, we spend a lot of time inside, not really that much time, but seemed like a lot of time in that 420 to 440 range, right? And now we're finally breaking away from it. Look, we've seen Tesla do this before. And on Friday, like that initial wick at the open was like, that's real. Like, it actually locally broke out, went like $4, and then pulled back into 420. So like, that was a good breakout trade. But the breakout, like that local breakout has happened already. And if it does do a dip, like a similar dip could have it pulling back into 440, which is a key level. 430 seems like that's no use anymore. When it was consolidating, thought it was more realistic. But the 440 would be the dip price, at least the first dip price for myself. If looking for what happened on Friday, which was a quick breakout, which you could have profited on as long as you were really fast with it, and then look for that V-shaped recovery there on Tesla. So it's really more about what it's doing here. And a close above 447 would signal that we're due for another leg up here, and then really you have nothing in your way till you get to the all-time high as far as resistance goes. I mean, 500 psychological level as well.
I mean, this is what we did on Tesla on Friday. I mean, talk about such an awesome stock. I mean, we made a good trade pretty much all week on Friday, buying the dip, and then obviously we're long at 420. We got out 430. Like, it was a $17 or $18 winner there on Friday. There it is right there, 422 to 423 long. That was from Friday, and then you can see where we are now. You're up to 450. Here for Tesla, so which was the number one. Shout out to the money storm. I don't have it up and open right now, but here we go. Tesla's now popping even higher right now to 447 as we continue to talk about it. But there it is, the money storm hitting again for Tesla. So we have it on written down today as the same kind of a trade, a 450 break this time, and then there's your dip buy into 440, right? I mean, the 440 is a very, very obvious level, so we'll wait to see if that winds up hitting, as you heard Neil talk about it. 440 is where it closed. That's the most obvious levels of all times, so we always try to look at that for potential support. I would probably try this name at 442, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's the break right now. It's probably going to break 450 by the time this market even opens up. We're still 15 minutes away. Like, we're just blasting through these top stories here. But yeah, I think Tesla just continues to work, man.
Oh, shoot.
We had it on this. Carnival just reported, by the way, CCL. We had this on our sticky note pretty much all last week. It was the greatest stock P&L wise around here last week. So we'll just continue to trade it again, and we nailed that last week, Tesla. Let's see if we could do it again. But there's Carnival Cruise with a beat right here. Nice upside again. Revenue of $8.2 billion, estimate of 8,097. So they beat 8.2 versus 8.0 right there for CCL as it just continues to climb higher there for CCL. So looking to break through $33. That could be a good trade today. Wow, I mean, what a nice move here in the cruise line. Seems like great value is what I'm hearing when you travel on these things. Although Marissa watched a Netflix show called Poop Cruise or something like that. We're never going on a cruise as far as I know now after that. And then Netflix, of course, going to the downside here. Not bad. We started watching that. There's they made a series out of that Alice in Borderland, so started watching that with my kids. It's a pretty, we only threw one episode, but that's part of it, right? So any content not made now in the United States apparently going to face some sort of a tariff. So I don't know exactly how that happens, how that hits like streaming.
I think it's better than...
yeah, you think it's better than Squid Game?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no.
Alice in Borderland I enjoyed more than Squid Game.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's... No, I mean, to each their own. I don't... Even my son was getting a little bored of Alice in Borderland, but we're only in episode 1, so we'll see. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. But yeah, there's a move down right there from 1,200 down to 1,100. So I don't know how that's going to affect these guys, but Netflix, yeah, is making a move down. Yeah, I would go on a higher quality cruise line if we were to go. I don't want to discount Carnival. I've never been. But yeah, apparently we're never going.
The one from the Netflix thing that was CCL.
Yeah, apparently.
I haven't watched it, so
I don't know. I don't. Apparently, it's not good. So we'll wait for that. But
thanks.
Okay, so yeah, there's CCL is now out and starting to rip around a little bit. So we can watch out for some CCL as this market opens up in still 13 minutes.
Plenty of time.
All right, quickly, Amazon trying to bounce here. A nice level to work off anyways, potentially. That's the daily chart right now, 220. Over the past couple of months here has been a bit of a pivot. Nothing significant. I mean, they're doing a deal with a financial news provider, essentially. And it's kind of interesting simply from the fact that we haven't heard much about their Anthropic, their AI.
Yeah.
Perplexity, on their last model, did a whole training with Yahoo Finance. So if you go to Perplexity, top left, there's a menu, drop-down menu. One of the options you can select is finance. And when you select finance, you end up on a page that is basically Yahoo Finance, but it looks like Perplexity. So you have access to all their financial data. So maybe they're going in that direction with Anthropic.
I like that look, Breno, especially because we've been hearing a lot of talk about LLMs misusing data or not paying the right licensing fees for the data, and lawsuits resulting as a result of New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and OpenAI. But today's headline between AWS is a collaboration with Murex, and it's announced a multi-year strategic collaboration. It builds on their long-standing partnership, which is basically enabling Murex to scale its MX3 platform into kind of a suite of managed services powered, of course, by AWS. It also supports financial institutions with security, compliance, operational excellence, so writes the article. So we'll see how this goes, but Murex it's a SaaS, it's software as a service, so not a bad look.
If there's some sort of integration there, I think that would be a fantastic opportunity to,
absolutely,
from a retail standpoint, a terminal like Bloomberg, for example, is unattainable or not worth the
100%.
the investment for those types of people. So if there's something like that was available, I think that's a great opportunity. Worth noting, a couple people mentioning Netflix did move on that 100% movie tariff note to the downside there. It is starting to bounce already. Those guys, not really a big move.
No, not a huge move, but Netflix does a lot of international content. Amazon, it's only up 0.8%. That's good for just a little better than what the market is doing. But the real thing for Amazon is, look, we talked about this last week. Like the tests on earnings of the 200 period moving average and bouncing once, and then we bounced last week again. So, if you like the 200 period moving average, I think you already got this at least once, if not twice. And if you wait for a line on the chart to actually hit, then you don't get it either time. But that's neither here nor there. It feels like we're sliding a little bit back. What I like to see is 220 hold. Prior support. You had one liquidity grab underneath, and then we kind of rallied. So I just want to see that 220 hold. It's not near the top of the list here today. Not when you're looking at, got weed on the mind. Obviously, we talked about the chips already, and then Tesla looks like an absolute beast. But yeah, that 220 level is where I'll be looking on Amazon. For the long term, that 200 period has been really, really good. So as long as it holds that trend, I think you buy the dips in front of it.
Yeah, for sure. I like your buy last week with Amazon. I think that's a good one. I like the stock. The most recent mega cap name I bought last week was Nvidia, but and Amazon definitely anywhere near that to 215 level is for me a buy. So we're going to wait to see if that can come through again for AMZN. But yeah, a little bit of a drip right here. We still have 8 minutes until the market even opens up here, 8 and change. So I don't know where it's going to come from, but that's a nice move down, and you're trying to barcode a little bit. So I like all of the news. I'm not even really certain what's up with this move down. I mean, I think everything's working for Amazon right now. I know, like we mentioned, the weak retail side of things, and then it just comes up with a technical level. Again, if you held Amazon from here all the way down and then all the way back up, now you're back here again. It's kind of like what Michael was doing, where you draw that, and I don't know, I don't have anchor VWAP on this program, but if you were to draw an anchor VWAP from its all-time highs and you figure out where are people stuck on this name, you're probably close to this 200 period moving average, because why not? It's an anchor to 200 days, so we can wait. I mean, I don't know how many days this is, September 29th now, but I feel like since the beginning of the year we're getting close. So good bounce area is all that I'm saying. Right now, it looks like a broken stock. So whenever you have a broken stock, you just want to wait for some definite support. And I think that's going to be into here somewhere between, it might be as low as 205 to 210. But this is just if things get bad in the space, retail enough. We do know that they have AWS. They have that Zooks going on. Bezos seems to be selling shares, and we always find out when he does. So maybe if there's something going on right there. The other name, of course, that was nearing all-time highs. That's pulling back a little bit. They're all similar right now when you look at an Nvidia just off of its all-time highs. We see Amazon there as well, but this name is nowhere near its 50-period moving average, and we'll wait to see what happens with Google as well. This could be another one of those names that we're looking to dip by and try to hold. So if we do get sort of a nastier day today, look out for this kind of a break, this 244 to 245. I think that brings us back into 240. So just in case things get bad, 244 or so for Google. I don't think, the market's doing well, but it's just you're up 1%. If we lose, we come back into where we were on Friday. I just watch out for that 244 area. Maybe that's a tester long down there as well. And then the other major cap name that looks like it wants to break its all-time high that really hasn't tested it since when it made was Apple. So we're still right here right now. And what I mean by not testing it is there's the actual all-time high of 260. So you're bumping your head up right here for Apple as well, and that looks like it may have seen the top and tried to run away from that as well. So yeah, I don't know. There's just some interesting plays happening right now in the Nasdaq as, again, the two largest holdings in all the ETFs, Apple and Nvidia, are just cruising around their all-time highs. If we get some big rejections over there, then I would see the market falling down, and then that would lead Amazon to the downside, would lead Google, which is basically dripping all of these names a lot lower. So I think the key right now is Apple being down 0 right now. That could, continue. If that makes a move down, watch out for the market giving it back up. And then Tesla just rejected off 448 as well. But again, we are 1 minute away from those imbalances. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with all this. I'm just a little nervous that Nvidia and Tesla are both hovering around their all-time highs. A break lower, and this market retraces just a little bit. It was down 0.8 last week. I think the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq. So was not a positive week, but definitely a positive month that we've already sort of discussed. So, all right, one more to go. See, we made up some time there. Now it's defense stocks with 5 minutes left.
CCL still going as well. A couple of people still talking about Carnival at day highs, essentially. Nice beat right across the board. All numbers here I'm seeing are to the upside. So nice buck and change here to the upside now for CCL. Let's talk about some of these defense stocks. If you're with us in the first 30 minutes, we touched on it briefly. $500 coming into play here for Lockheed Martin on this note this morning, essentially from the Trump administration saying that all of these companies need to up their manufacturing.
Yeah, a lot of the stockpile has been exhausted, Brendo, whether it went to the Middle East or Ukraine. Running late. So the Pentagon is urging contractors to either double or quadruple production of 12 critical missile systems, including the Patriot Interceptor, long-range anti-ship missiles, as well as Standard Missile 6 and precision strike missiles. The initiative really comes amid the heightened focus on potential conflict with China and depleted U.S. stockpiles following conflicts in both Ukraine and the Middle East. The Deputy Defense Secretary, Steve Feinberg, he's going to be responsible for personally overseeing the progress of the new Munitions Acceleration Council. That's the council being set up to oversee this. They're going to hold weekly calls with defense executives, as Brendo mentioned. RTX, Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, L3 Harris, all 1% or over in the pre-market. Boeing, Brendo, to kind of meet these goals, they completed a 35 square foot Patriot Seeker expansion facility. For their part, Northrop Grumman invested more than $1 billion in the rocket motor output capacity increases. Critics of this, though, they're arguing that you're not going to be able to reach your goal unless Congress earmarks more money and gives it to the Pentagon because they're running late on cash.
Typically not day trading or intraday type stocks, but worth noting from an overall standpoint for the market. As a result, guys, not a lot of volume on any of these, but all looking like this. This is LMT right now.
Was earlier.
So I just want to, just very quickly here, we have 4 minutes to go. It was a going west soon, TH, GME and EA are both safe holds. Let's throw one thing out there about EA. It's a $210 cash deal, but the deal is not supposed to close till 2027, like early 2027. You slap a fair value on that thing, and the risk-free is around $200. So it's actually trading above the risk-free rate if you do a calculation on it. So I'm not saying it's not a hold, but if the deal doesn't go through, obviously it could fall back down. Lockheed has been an absolute trend off the 420 level, no questions asked. I think that was more of a, that was just more of a swing idea when it broke like the 50 period and things like that. I don't think this is going to be a trade as a day trade. That being said, any strength in defense names, you want to have an eye on Palantir. A very disappointing morning to me for Palantir to not be back above the 180 level, because this is exactly where it dropped off on Friday, 180. I'll go to 15. Can you see that better? It's exactly where it dropped off on Friday, the 180. So much like Nvidia, like it's sitting here like dreaming for a breakaway from 181. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. We might have to wait for like a dip buy. Like this is another consolidating stock, and if it's not going to do the break from here to here, which is 181 to 184, then you wait for like a 175 on Palantir. That's the defense name that we trade. Well, that I would trade. And just only have 2 minutes to go. Actually, now we don't have that much time. I got eyes on silver again. Just looking for, as it dips back in, one of two things can happen. It can either hold the top end of the range from yesterday, from Friday, I should say, which is this 42.20-ish, or pull back into prior close price. So looking for some continuation. Gold strong, silver has been strong as well. See if I can't find a long. Again, held VWAP very nicely most of the day.
Market coming in quite nicely right now, like pretty nicely. We just talked about Tesla being at 448. It's at 444 right now, so it is a nice downside push here for the overall market. Like we said, what happens when we lose this? Maybe bad things start to happen. So just coming through, let me just take a quick look at these imbalances. There really wasn't anything on here that was creating BBA as a bid. What? There wasn't much on here that was creating this sort of action to happen. So I'm not really sure. Baba's still staying up there strong, up 4%. That continues because I was going to say let's look for weak names here. Look at Amazon. Wow, that goes red there. I think down to 220. So it just bounced off that level that Neil mentioned, or we both liked 220 or so. So there goes Amazon down to the downside right there as well. Tesla downside. Nvidia holding up quite well. Actually going higher is Nvidia. So bucking the wow. Okay, the market is, I don't know if there's any news here at all. I don't affect CCL doing anything, no, so that's not doing anything. Maybe Netflix, not gonna help the market. Nah, that's not doing it. So yeah, market downside here to start the day. No, it's still up, but a downside push. Wondering what's up with that. But here we go. With only 10 seconds left, has Tesla found a bottom? Maybe it has, but there it is. This opening bell is brought to you by ticker VFS and VinFast, a global intelligent mobility company. Scan that QR code. Find more about VinFast ASAP. Here we go, 2 and 1. All right, Nvidia, Intel, Apple, these are all the names that we're going to be looking at here today right now. Let's see if we do get a little bit of a bounce. There goes Nvidia right now, man. We're glad we bought that last week at 175. Wow, Nvidia, bye-bye. Right there, like some Justin Timberlake, bye-bye-bye right now as it is gone. See you later. Tesla also saying, that was a nice dip, back up to 446 right now, and definitely holding out that 443 200 period moving average. The power is strong with this market, man. Nvidia 182.
Yeah, the force is strong with that one for sure. MSOS and the lead names starting to come back into the downside a little. Whoa, okay, MSOS is, but tlry is not. Tilray went the other way. I was about to say that it was running, but Tilray broke out the high of the day, now 22% to the upside, as it's Nvidia and Tesla's party, and the market is just trying to catch up a little bit here. There goes Tesla.
Wow.
Didn't want to break there. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I got to look over at AMD because I'm offering 162 on AMD. That's a resistance level. That's not getting there at all. So let's quickly throw over to CCL. Remember, CCL reported earnings before the bell, 15 minutes before the bell. That's up 5%. And it's got a big, big level here, 32.8. Triple top at 32.8 here on CCL. I like it for a breakout trade, but if that fails, I've seen CCL do this before. Like, you can pull back easily 1%. I think you got to have a relative risk on it. The high right now is 32.55. Like, I wouldn't hold that all the way to VWAP, as VWAP's all the way down at 31.70, which is nuts.
Here goes Tesla.
Carnival.
Tesla's going to break 450 already. So
okay, apparently
we're
that's
going to go
happening.
long when that does happen.
So much for
there on Tesla. So yeah, we should just. Again, the 200 period, but I don't like to buy anything when it hits like that in the pre-market. That's like a pretty dangerous play, I would think, for sure here in the pre-market. AMD is the one that's going to the downside. I was actually looking to pick some up there, but why would I do that if I can just trade off some Intel? Intel sucks, by the way. Intel's getting smoked. What a good call that was to get some out there on Intel, but we'll wait to see if it goes. So there goes Tesla right now, breaking through 450. Yeah. So we're in it now. Let's see how high we can fly now for Tesla. We're in, but hoping for obviously more. As there it goes right now, trying to extend through. And we do got AMD as well. So right now we're seeing if we can get something into the Dollar Club membership right here. Let's get something out on Nvidia. Sorry, something out on AMD. AMD right now is the blast from the past. So there it goes. Let's see if that can continue to go upside. But Tesla, we got a little bit out on the top side. Now let's see where this one fails to. Tesla still long TSLA.
Yeah, Tesla's trying to go. I mean, it's It hasn't broken 451. It actually hit 450.98, it looks like, as it's trying. Well, you got to be kidding me, Tilray. Tilray's also gone, by the way. It just broke $1.50, as that's now 30% to the upside. I don't think Tesla's got the juice. If it loses 49, I'm out and waiting for 47 or the volume weighted average price, as it could be an early failed high of the day break. I look up, and what is not failing the high of the day is Nvidia. You've got to be kidding me. Nvidia now 2.5% as it just tagged 182.5, flying higher. Dara, what do you have for us?
Keep an eye on Microsoft here. MSFT announcing Copilot through their Excel and Word documents. Apparently their agent mode in Excel and Word will now be providing AI-generated documents. You're going to be using this also to be able to craft PowerPoint presentations and prepare documents in Word directly with chat commands. So interesting AI update for MSFT here, guys. Again, I do want to remind you guys at 10 a.m. we will get pending home sales month over month. So we do have an economic data number at 10. We don't have anything at 9:45. Back to you.
What's up, Seth? What up, traders? Here we go, man. We're in this name. Let's see if we can get some bull runs happening for us right now. There goes AMD, man. 160.20 as we continue to climb high. No lie. And you know this. Tesla spinning it right now here as we go. Back through 450. Let's just see what winds up happening right now. My best out is 450.70 or so right there. We'll take another out now at 30 as it does not look like it wants to go. But hey, man, we'll try to put our money into this name. Let's see if it wants to work. Another out right there. It is trying to fade out. VWAP's at 447, so we're going to wait to see if and when that comes into play. But here it is, man. This is a big one right now for AMD. Look, all we didn't have AMD written down on our list. Nah, we didn't. We had Nvidia written down on the list. But once Nvidia really started to moon, really on nothing, just on excitement in the market in general, I guess. We didn't have a specific story per se for Nvidia. But there it goes all the way up to 183. Nice move from 180, 183. So I was just like, let's pay some catch up with that one. And there goes AMD higher and higher and higher. Get another piece out right there at 20. Wow. Boom, to the upside goes Advanced Micro Devices. There it is, man, putting that dollar club right back in. But we got a deal right here with Tesla, so we'll just wait to see what this one wants to do. Back to flat on this name, but so far so good there. Big day alert here with AMD, and we'll just wait to see what winds up happening with Tesla. But so far so good, man. And then CCL, just talk about what's happening with Carnival. You know, they came out with their report. Nice downside play right there for CCL.
CCL tanking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, tank is hard, but yeah, nice move down right there, down a couple bucks. CCL, nice move down to 31. So yeah, maybe we can find a bid. I don't know, 30.50 or so. I don't know.
I was ready to take the breakout. I just canceled the breakout order on CCL. That's insane. Let's go to Adair, I believe.
Go AMD.
Great morning drive here to the upside, right off the open for Alibaba. Keep an eye on these Chinese ADRs. We have commentary coming from the Chinese Commerce Ministry. They're having some issues with U.S. export controls and urging the U.S. to stop, quote unquote, unreasonable oppression on Chinese firms. They said even further that the U.S. is undermining the stability of the global industrial chain. And they want the Commerce Ministry of the U.S. to correct their practices or correct their incorrect practices. Keep an eye here in BABA, FXI, KWEB, or any of these Chinese firms. Again, China's Commerce Ministry has some harsh words for these U.S. practices. Back to you.
Yeah, Alibaba's been an absolute beast, no questions asked. Going to move up to the volume weighted average price on Tilray, see if we can't catch at least one of these weed names. As it's all, I mean, Nvidia is now 3% to the upside. Tesla failed to break. Now looking for the dip. It needs to hold on to the volume weighted average price. So the 50 break, I was never actually short the stock. I don't know why that even coded as a purple, but trust me, I was never short the stock. Looking for VWAP to hold at $448 on this bad boy. And as I said, looking at that weed name, specifically Tilray for me, we'll see if we can get the volume weighted average price on any kind of a pullback. But man, Nvidia is on an absolute tear. There is basically no red in sight for this bad boy. 3% here. I just double checked to see, and Intel is still dropping heavily. So 4% down on Intel.
Yeah, let's go. That was a good idea. Oh.
I liked 326 at $32.60 as the dip buy support on Intel. And for anyone out there, EA, VWAP, short, I think this thing has a chance to get to $200 today. We'll see if it can actually get down there, but the risk-free rate's so far up, and that deal's not closing for a while. So I don't actually think that's much of a long, to be honest with you.
All right. Today's, again, we're trying to do it again. Look, we just went over to an AMD because we know that it has juice, especially when Nvidia goes, right? And so that was really the reason for that. I think we'll just hold on to AMD. Maybe there's some more get up to that name. Let's just go double check what JP Morgan is doing. We're still sitting in this. So I did average in just a small bit here on Tesla, down at 449. I mean, so there it is. We got $1 almost on the reload right there, but we're not going to take it. We're going to wait to see how higher we can get here for TSLA. Marvell does that move, by the way, and then just fades right back in. So you got to watch out. Like those futures killing it right there off the open. That was a little bit of a problem, and we didn't even get back into the 50-period moving average again. So. Well, we got back into it, but we didn't take it, so that's a little bit of a problem. And then Marvell, this is what I wanted to show you guys, did that same move again, right back up to 84.50, which is right there, that it's done the last 3 days, like pretty much right on 84.50 there for MRVL. So there's the pullback on it as well. But okay, AMD, you're doing it, man. We just got 161.40 right there for $1 and change right there. So we don't need this stock to do something. First of all, hit the subscribe. That was the do something button there, I believe. There's the do something button. So we don't need AMD to do something. We need Tesla to do something. So a big trade alert right there for for AMD, and trying to get Tesla to turn itself around, as well as we'll be as patient as we can be with this one. So we'll go 2 for 2 so far, but sitting on this TSLA trade just to see where this one goes. But yeah, we'll hang our hat on AMD and hope that Tesla can get going as well. So those are the 2 trades that I have right now. We should be looking at BABA, and then look, we wrote down Intel sell. We sold some on Friday at 35.70. Sorry. So this move down I don't think should surprise anybody, as it was a very technical look. If you're a swing trader or anything like that, and you run into some levels like this on Intel, to me, that's a sell. We could be wrong in a couple of days, but glad that we did that on Friday. So far, so good. But there goes, man. What's holding the day right here is AMD. So let's wait to see if that can continue to go higher. There it is again, 161.60, man. $1.40 on this AMD trade.
Well, if Tesla keeps bouncing exactly off 448.5 here, holding the volume weighted average price, if it loses that, I think it's gonzo. The last high, it broke 450. The next time it bounced off VWAP, you got 449.8. So like the breakout, early fade off a breakout, and now you're going to lose VWAP, so I'll dump that one. That looks like an abject fail over there on Tesla. I did get into silver, SLV obviously. Said the second that stock starts holding the volume weighted average price, I want to be in, kind of like Friday, only a little bit earlier. I wasn't in the stock until a little bit later, but it's already starting to do the VWAP hold. So silver, gold, both very strong. I know some people in the chat were saying you should be looking at Barrick Gold. And for everyone out there, if you're, oh no, it's not working. All right, I was going to put up the stock visualizer and remind everybody to hit $, but it's not working. But either way, make sure when you're typing in the chat, type in $ and then the symbol Barrick Gold, which is just B. That's up 3%. But silver is on my mind in terms of the metals.
Okay, here comes, we have pending home sales coming up pretty soon as well. So, all right, man, here comes Tesla. We take the bid down there at 447. So now let's wait to see. We're long at 449 now on TSLA. I mean, this one could just continue to get a bleed down into the low side of this one. At 446, break down, and we'll get out. So if it breaks through 446, then we're going to get out. I mean, you're now below everything else. Tesla had its run early, and now it looks like it is giving it all back. But I don't know if we're going to give it all back, but if it does, then we can reload it down into here. But if we break 445, just too far down, this is definitely a falling knife right now. So it looks like we will go $3 the other way here on TSLA for now. Intel's the one that's really tanking, man, down 5% right there. That should be surprising absolutely nobody there. But here it comes right now. AMD. I'm going to get another piece off on AMD now, just in case this is like a complete pullback in the market and we don't want to lose the whole top on this one. But even just, there we go, we got out on Tesla. But just on AMD here, We only have about 25% left, so I am going to take another spot right here and get some out there. We don't want to lose our complete way on Tesla, but I don't know if that was the bottom or not there for TSLA, so we did get out. May wind up regretting that, but down to 444, I think is a much better area than where we are right now. So we'll try a little bit here on Tesla, but watch out for 144, more key level there.
Yeah, and speaking of key levels, Intel, I mean, the tank, it didn't get anywhere near that 32.6 level, but it did just bounce clean off this prior high at $33.50. So that's actually looking pretty constructive. But my focus now has to shift over to where, I know you're just talking about Tesla.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to be the pre-market low, then 440 is the prior high. It always dips back into the prior high for me. Silver kind of going sideways right now, but I wanted to go over some names that you guys were throwing in the chat, and we'll do it without the visualizer, at least for now. Oklo up 5%, but just tanked $5 off of the open. So be careful with this. This is the exact level that it failed on Friday. Like, it just tanked 19, $4 or $5 to the downside. When this stock did this on Friday, it essentially never had a bid. So Oklo in a little bit of trouble here into the downside, and worth keeping an eye on. Nvidia just continues to go absolutely nuts. 183.50.
Yes.
Yeah, Nvidia, remember, Nvidia's all-time high. Where the heck's the chart? There we go. Nvidia's all-time high, it's like this 185 resistance level. This is one of those breaks that I said the day that it gets there, I'd take it. I thought we'd get a dip buy today before it came. We're $1.50 away, so the order has to go in just to be ready for a potential breakout here on NVDA. An absolute runaway freight train, the stock.
You know, it's a runaway freight train, Neil. I don't know if you're noticing AMD right there. AMD right now, $2 in the money right there. So it is another one, and it's starting to go back up to the upside. All right, man, we can get close here on Tesla. Let's keep this going right now. Now at $2 in the money now on Tesla, $2 in the money on AMD, and just absolutely booming right now. So I know Neil's just had silver and Tesla, but silver and gold. Copper could be a play as well. Gold today ticking out near highs as well. So gold 352. Wow, new all-time high for gold today as well. So GLD just continues to make moves higher. Good out for us at 29 on SoFi not too long ago, but there it goes down for SoFi again there today. And you know, the story that's like, maybe Intel bounces somewhere, but I was really looking back at it, happy where we wind up getting out on that. We can wait to see if that can get back up into that 36 area, which will start to be a fade. And then Amazon does hold that 220 pretty good as well, but so far so good here as we wait. I'm just going to wait for Tesla. We just got a nice little fill up there at 447.50 or so. Let's see if we could take out, like, we might have stopped out at the bottom again there, but at least we bought some back in, trying to use that 444. But there's the, like, whoosh, a little bit of an aggressive move there for that one. But we're look at this, Neil. We're now 250 in the money right now on AMD. That just absolutely moon city right there. So yeah, we're glad, we're happy we have AMD. Obviously, take the hit on Tesla, but Neil, AMD, absolute moonshot.
Yeah, great moonshot. That's why you got to have the winners on the side. I just got out of silver. We did not hold on to the volume weighted average price. My idea is, and I was talking about, look, the reason I was mentioning that EA to people is I just don't want, when somebody buys a stock thinking it's going to go to 210, just understand there's an entire mechanism that goes along with it, like when the deal closes, the risk of the deal closing, how big. This is the biggest deal. This is bigger than Twitter on a notional level. This EA deal, just so you guys know, it's a bigger deal than Twitter. It's going to take forever for it to close, and as far as I'm concerned, that's why it should be trading around $200. But again, that's just my personal opinion and sort of like the way I research these things. So I'm going to be short this thing until it gets there. As far as Tesla goes, I'm looking to jump right back into this one. It just needs to hold on to 440. Like, you've got a fail break of the high, so a pullback into prior highs is always going to be the next thing. You just failed the volume weighted average price. So if it does what it did on Friday, which is a failed breakout, trend down, it didn't break trend till 10:30. 10:30 is when the stock broke trend after a failed breakout at the open. So patience is a virtue. Doesn't mean it can't hold somewhere else. I don't mind taking it somewhere else, like 442, 440, but it's going to be a trend break play for me and pretty much a trend break play alone. Thank you guys for the super chats in here. WCM, GME dividend warrants get issued Friday, squeeze incoming. Well, if Bitcoin's doing well, then that could bode well for GME. It's been running with it. And then we had a Google dip buy was easy one this morning. Shout out to you, 55 guy and WCM. Good times. Good luck with GME. That has been actually a good one on the daily chart. Good looking chart on GME. We don't say that very often. I believe we are going to Adara. Oh, sorry, not to Adara.
All right, exciting news for Canadian sophisticated trader. Beta Pro by GlobalX Canada has just launched 6 new triple levered ETFs by offering the 3x bull and the 3 times bear exposure to the S&P and the TSX 60 semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. And right now they are offering a special fee rebate just down to 65 basis points until the end of the year. These ETFs also employ currency hedging, which is looking to seek neutralized U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you are a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn some more. All right, 163 for AMD. Let's have a quick look at exactly what AMD is doing here and see if we can find out where that next little level is, right? So, yeah, breaking through right now, 163. This looks like a good top. We had been up to 164, obviously there in the past, as we can see. Will that come again at 164? Let's get something out. That's 163.40s. Let's go to 163.20 right now. And as Neil said, I know it's been a tough day today, but we are looking for winners on the side. And we only have 2 trades today. I'm talking about myself here. We have 1 loser for sure with Tesla, but I'm going to get something out as it just bumped up a little bit there. So let's get something out right there. And then so 1 big one with Tesla, 1 big one with AMD, but going in opposite ways. So here we go up to 163. We'll see if we can get some extension there. Look at this market. We were like, oh my God, it fell down early. Well, it just went into pre-market support, and now we are absolutely mooning right now on the Nasdaq. So there it goes, man. Monster high right now on the TQs and on the Qs. Now up 1%. The ES is also blasting, not as much as the Nasdaq because you're being led by the studs right now, by Nvidia, by Apple most likely. And there it goes, man. There's $3 now. 1, 2, 3. So as Neil mentioned, it's always good to have these side pieces on, and that's exactly what this is right now for AMD, man. $3 in the money. We said Google would be good dip buy opportunities if and when the market ever went down, and it went down today. 247 up to 251. Let's go Google, another piece of the pie for your boy. And then maybe Intel can get back up and we can find ourselves into a short. But right now, man, AMD really holding the day over here. So that's about it, man. Maybe Palantir could be going. I don't know. You guys tell me.
Palantir doesn't seem like it's not like a Palantir normal day. It is up. It's finally holding that 180 level. Don't get me wrong. It's just not necessarily shooting like crazy. And the opening wick on Palantir, this is very real, by the way. Like it tagged 181.50 and then tanked to 178.5. That's a $3 kind of Captain Insano move there for Palantir. I said you need to hold the 180 level and break out this 181. That's an absolute false break. But you know what? Sometimes the second break's better than the first. So as long as it's above VWAP, if I can't catch VWAP on Nvidia, then it might just have to be Palantir as a backup plan. Tesla's still looking for a trend break on Tesla. Oh, and here's one more for you. The visualizer's finally working, everybody. So thank you for typing. Lots of people have been doing the type the $sign to make sure we get the levels. Robinhood, 5 points to the upside. Yeah, the hooded one continues to be an absolute beast. There's Nvidia, NVTS, I'm not sure what's going on there. MU, Marvel, BYND, yeah, Beyond Meat, not looking very good. Thankfully for Beyond Meat, there was that pharma stock that was down 90%. Otherwise, Beyond Meat would be the one that's the dog of the day. But there's Robinhood, 127.50, as this absolutely I mean, I don't even know what the adjective to say. We're about to get to another all-time high in Robinhood. Yet again, the stock just cannot seem to stop going up. But I'm going to look for Palantir off VWAP. It doesn't, that 181 break, thankfully we didn't take it. Maybe I would have got 50 cents on it. I would argue if you take that breakout, you're probably lost. But the second time looks like it could be a bit of a charm. So I'm going to look to buy dips in the VWAP, see if we can't get that 180. And yeah, that's the next trade for me because Tesla hasn't broken that trend yet.
Yeah, we're still, so we got out of Tesla when it broke 444, and then we just basically got back in, going to use this bottom candle there, 443. So we're going to wait to see 442 break, and then we can wind up getting out because, I don't know, I've just seen, you know, the money that we made on Tesla over the last week just trying to hold on to something has been okay. But this move, obviously, I just don't see the market falling. Like I mean, it's pretty strong. So I'm trying to wait to see how long I have to wait and where this bottom could potentially be in Tesla. So we got to try to be a little bit careful. We did have an Alibaba bid down at like 176. That's nowhere near. That opened up at 178, went up to 180. So this is another dip buy opportunity here for me, is in Alibaba. So like we're saying, still a good thing that we hold on a little bit to that AMD trade. Shopify made all-time highs last week. We can double check this one, 142 for Shopify, up another 1.5% today. But they just pulled back nicely there last week. And there's that again, like making that high last week and then just falling down pretty aggressively there actually, back in for Shopify, sorry, right back into the 50-period moving average. So this one looks, you know, again, nice little cup and handle area forming again, maybe a head and shoulders, maybe more like it, but right into there, 140 for Shopify. Looks like that may wind up holding. If it does, that would be a perfect pattern. But Uber right there as well, down to 99 bucks, but trying to get that bounce. So that could also be a little bit of something here as we look to see if there's any love back in Uber. SMR in some of those names today. Oklo he's SMR in Brazil.
Big turn on Oklo.
Yeah, there's SMR, not SM, not Smuckers. There's SMR. It was up to 40 bucks, I thought earlier. Yeah. So there's the $40 take basically as soon as we open up, and then it faded right back in right now, trying to go red. Now SMR still up 1.6%. Let's see if it does hold that 38 area, which would put that back into the red zone. But yeah, it looks like right now Tesla falling down and AMD going up. So it's kind of the story here of different market going upside, but they're not liking TSLA as, yeah, that short just should have been stuck short. There it is, continuously going lower. Also, Brent crude, I'm hearing in my ear, also downside right now goes oil. So, yeah, it looks like Tesla's going to fail off of that 550 pretty dramatically right there, as we expect deliveries at some point this week. But there it goes, downside. Derek mentioned October 3rd for Tesla deliveries. October 2nd. So we'll wait to see when that's coming through. But Tesla for right now, nice downside push here into 440.
Yeah, there's a YCBD is halted to the upside for those that have put in the chat. Because it's an Amex name like .am, the tap is pretty much where it closed. We don't usually get any updates on the tap for Amex. Right. So as far as I know, I mean, it's going to open over $1 if it opens flat. So the dollar level on this YCAB, certainly worth a look. Palantir just got the dip into Palantir into VWAP and 180. So it holds on to VWAP. I mean, barely held on to the volume weighted average price. I'd like to see a couple closes above, get a nice little rounded bottom or a nice little higher low and rounded bottom here on Palantir into the 181 and continue to see if it can go. Yeah, Tesla doesn't seem to want it today, although it's so close to that 440 level that we like. Micron 5% to the upside, as this is now super trending along with the other chip names. I mean, Nvidia, AMD, Micron. I haven't looked at Broadcom. My assumption is that it's having a really good day, but Tesla is getting very close to that 440. So the trend break, this is where it has to happen. If you lose 440, 430 is the only next significant level back in there. So I'm ready to sniper in if we can get a bit of a trend break here on Tesla. I might use a 1-minute chart instead. Yeah,
we're still in this, still waiting to see what Tesla wants to do. Again, like that 442 might have been the hold, but I don't know. This will be the last sort of a shot there. We just take another piece out as it goes back up into 443.50. But yeah, for right now, I agree. This is not. We want to try to hold out, right, in case this does eventually go. So I do. want to try to see, because where the market is and where Tesla is right now, you know, we've seen some very, very serious get up happen in this name, to the point where we had just such a huge winner there on Friday. It was $13, $14, $15, but we did have to suffer through this kind of a move. Then it based and then it went, right? And so I'm trying to wait to see if and when that happens. We do have pending home sales coming out right now, and I don't think that's going to necessarily affect Tesla, but I am going to try to get some out at 443.80. Whoa, we just bounced off of us there. There it is. We get it this time. So here we go, man. Now 70 cents back into the money here on TSLA. Man, it's fun to trade this name. That is for sure. It's not fun to have L's on it, but it's fun to trade. So we're going to get we just got another piece out there at 444. So back up into the money now goes Tesla. Look, we could still make something of this trade. It just needs to go. So good dip buy opportunities there. Every trade that we've had has been okay. That one, no. The 448 right there. These dip buys have been good until eventually we just lost it right there. So we're going to try to see, like VWAP is up here, 447, 446. I like it. Is it like car specific here? Rivian also down. Yeah, yuck. Rivian also down yuckily as well, down 3%. And we again talked about some of these plays heading into last week as well. Maybe you were lucky to get 17s, but you got 16s there for Rivian. So that would have been something to consider there as well. Yeah, if Snapchat's going up, man, I'm going to be upset about that one, because we had called that around mid 7s, and I know that's been doing quite well. All right, one more out here at 90s for Tesla, and now we'll see if we can let this continue to run higher with only 30 seconds until the number.
We also got a super chat. Oh, we're going to have a number in a couple of seconds, but we got a couple of super chats we missed. One, Willis Addison, headed fishing, bought FOFO at 686 and sold at 65.60. Yeah, that's pretty intense. Congrats on that. Just watch out. That stock's actually halted to the downside. Be careful with these, like Hong Kong. I believe this is a Hong Kong one. Yeah. Yeah, congratulations on that. But when these catch the other end of the trade, like, you might have just actually had the top on this stock. It'll be back at $6 right quick. So congrats there. I believe we're going to Adaro. We've got numbers and happening now.
Yeah, we just got in this pending home sales print, 4% here for U.S. pending home sales for the month of August. That is above the forecast of 0.4%. So again, we're expecting 0.4% here for the pending home sales change. Previous negative 0.4%, actual print positive 4%. So well above the forecast and the previous print. Here's the market just trying to continue to push higher. Here is the Nasdaq again trying to break out a bit here. Now, in terms of other economic data, there's none today. The biggest day by far is going to be Friday with NFP. Then we will get Jolt stop openings tomorrow at 10 a.m. So 24 hours from now. Stay tuned. That is often a number that moves the market. Keep an eye here on Netflix. Now, Trump is actually set to speak later today. He's going to be meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. But earlier today, he announced 100% tariffs on movies that are made outside of the U.S. That's why Netflix initially dropped, though it's recovered pretty nicely. He also announced, quote unquote, substantial tariffs on countries that are making their furniture outside the U.S. Now, also keep an eye here on any of these China plays. JD on watch, Alibaba on watch. We had some comments from China's Commerce Ministry earlier today saying that the U.S. is undermining the stability of the global industry chain and needs to stop its oppressive measures, I guess, against Chinese tech firms. Before we send you back to the guys, let's take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug, designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
No. So, anyways, I was just telling Sean, there's somebody in my league who thought that the Guardian helmets looked ridiculous on Green Bay Packers players. I'm like, if they save lives, does it really matter? I know they look silly, but come on, who cares? They do. I'm gonna slap the fail on the PLTR one. It just bounced VWAP, and we just gotten like 50 cents on that bad boy, and then it just lost the bid. Can you go to the chart for a second? Thank you. And then we just lost the bid. So now all of a sudden we're waiting patiently. I like VWAP to hold, but if it doesn't hold, then you got to wait until pullback prior resistance maybe. If it's going to be a long on Palantir, then it needs to show something, because that was a heavy dip just now. Tesla kind of broke that trend. I want to go over and respect it. All right, someone disagrees. I'm going to throw out someone disagrees with me on EA. And The scaling is going to be ridiculous on this, but like my plan of action is to short the volume weighted average price in every single pop. But somebody's all over this thing at 202.70. So if you're out there watching this trade and maybe you like the long in the stock, I don't personally. I'm waiting for the VWAP to be able to get more in. And as long as it holds VWAP, I'm short this thing the entirety of the day, at least until it gets to $200. But we're going to go back to Adair in a second, but just to let you know, we're getting really close to breaking the trend, each one of these pops on Tesla. So either 440 or this trend break is next for me as we go back to Adara at the desk.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Plus 500. Are you looking for a futures trading platform that actually delivers without hidden costs? With Plus 500 futures, you get free live charts, transparent fees, low margins, and an unlimited demo, so you can practice until you're ready to trade live. Open an account and start trading with as little as $100. With Plus 500's powerful platform, you can access a wide range of futures, markets, S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, gas, Forex, metal, crypto, and more. And it's all in one place. Plus, enjoy a welcome bonus of up to $200 in commission-free trading. Just scan the QR code on screen to apply for your account today and join over 300 million users worldwide who've already chosen Plus 500. Back to you.
All right, so what's up, Adara? Yeah, so, you know, other than, I guess, AMD and EA Sports, we don't got any winners on right now, so we're going to have to try to find a little bit more, but that doesn't really matter. Let us know. Neil just said, like, what's going on with Robinhood.
I'm going to check Twitter because
well,
I can't.
So we're going to find that out.
Benzing is not working. So.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know either. Yeah, our Benzing is not working. So if Adara can find out what's going on with Robinhood. But here we go. I just want to say, like, Cannabis. CCL right now, we had that YC, whatever that stock is, I think might have just reopened. But there it is right now, CCL, downside play right here. And what's up, Mr. Englewood says, can we get the old Sean talking about Carnival? We used to trade this quite a bit when I was in the teens, that's for sure. But right now, yeah, Carnival. I don't really love looking at names with earnings days here, but that is a nice move back in. And now just taking out the 21 period, which could be a trend change right there. So follows it all the way down, takes it out right there at $30. Now starting to swoop up a little bit. So I would say, Mr. Englewood, I like the long here, but it's going to have to be in and around here, and then use 30 or maybe even some of these as your outs. Again, not very familiar with what's been going on with the call there, or you know what's been happening with Carnival. But thanks for bringing it up, and I'm always glad to help you guys out and look at that a little bit as well. So more outs coming here. I just at 38. I don't know why we're at 38, but maybe we can get filled at 38. And that's us, me holding it on Nasdaq. Okay, we actually got to fill, so out a little bit there on AMD. As like I said, really the solid winner with EA Sports. Other than that, I'm just kind of sitting here waiting to see what's going to happen with this guy. And of course, that is Tesla, waiting to see where it wants to form. 440 break is looking like it wants to do that. So nice upside play there off of a 442 dip by, but not great so far for Tesla. What's up, Adara?
So as far as I can tell here with Robinhood, this is the news. Based on what I'm seeing on social media, a lot of people who are very bullish on Robinhood have been sharing this image, and it looks like the company themselves shared this image. I'm seeing around 40 minutes ago is when all of this started. So Robinhood, long story short, announcing via this little visual that their predictions markets cumulative event contract volume is now over 4 billion. So that's what's happening here with HOOD, as far as I can tell on social media. Back to you.
Okay, so
yeah, we know Kalshi's been just crushing it on volume as well. But I'm curious. I don't know, how much are they making with this?
A lot, I guess.
Yeah, well, I
mean, gambling is obviously, we know how huge it is.
Oh, we know it's definitely huge, but yeah, congratulations to Robinhood on that, because it's very close to an all-time high break there. So like the trend break, nibbled in because it hasn't really closed above the trend line, so that's a bit of a cheat. But either way, this prior low is going to be 4. Not using the wick bottom. Like a wick bottom like that's a liquidity grab, so I'm looking at 442 quarter-ish is the prior bar low, effectively. So that's going to be the out. But until it actually closes above the trend line, I probably shouldn't have been in the first place, so I'll wait to add to this one. But Robinhood, whether you like it or not, I don't care what you think of these predictive markets. 40 cents away. This might not be the actual all-time. 130 is not the actual all-time high. I'll double-check the exact number. But on the chart, it might just be a little bit higher than a 130 on Hood. 6% to the upside. This stock is ridiculous, and it's absolutely on a tear. What annoys me about this is the rising tide isn't lifting all ships. SoFi is literally tanking as we speak, down 2%. I chuckle because now we're back to the old, how come you're not following Robinhood with SoFi? But if it's a very particular story, I mean, SoFi has nothing, literally nothing to do with those predictive markets. So if it's all about that, it makes some sense that only Robinhood's going up here.
All right, man, throws it back over here. $4 plus right now in the money. So, yeah, man, we're jamming right now. We've got $4. We've got $2.50 on AMD as that's still going higher. And then there's our Tesla finally starting to relieve some stressla on that one. So, yeah, let's just continue to move forward here and loving life and loving trading. And, you know, when you have great weekends, you can come in here and just absolutely, you know, do this, have some fun with you guys, trade this market, man, have a great time, and just be able to see the Nasdaq taking out all-time highs or getting close enough to that again. Let me just double check to see if that is the case. I mean, I don't want to have a party here and it's not even close. But there's the Nasdaq, and yeah, we are very close to breaking out right now. 602 and change. Let me see what exactly the high is on the TQQs. For all-time high, 602.87. So we were close today. We'll see if we can make that one more time for everybody there in today. And it looks like the Nasdaq wants to get that going. And it's brought to you by not names like Tesla, although this move right now is the face slapper right there. It's brought to you by Nvidia. Now we picked up. I'm never going to feel bad, obviously, about picking up Tesla on any, or Nvidia sort of on any dips, right? We were able to get that at 175 at the 50-period moving average last week. It did go against us, I think, for one day, but now it's straight back up to the upside right there. Yes, sir. There it goes, man. We'll ride that bull into the sunset right now. Let's go right now. We still got a decent size on here for our Tesla trade, so it is starting to go back up to the upside. I was going to wait for 445.85 because that's where that was, but we'll take another fill because the last time we retraced, so we made a bottom down here. The last time we retraced, it came all the way back into this area and then fell again. So let's take some more out just in case that does happen. And if it doesn't, then we just say, Neil, when moon right now. And we say, what's up to Brendo now as well. But why CBD? People might be saying why THC. We know why. But why CBD right now, as that has now unhalted one more time. But yeah, so far so good here today as, yeah, buddy, now $3 in. We are now $6 in total on AMD and on Tesla. So far so good over there. There is an error that looks like something on our position board.
Well, it looks like, oh, never mind. It just, I mean, the position board's correct. It's just that that thing, yeah, whatever that is, I don't really know.
Yeah, who knows?
But anyways, Tesla broke that trend pretty clean, all-day trend break, but back into the volume-weighted average price. By the time it closed the bar, you were already another $1 higher, so not chasing it extra dollar when the risk stays the same. So just take it station to station. If we end up breaking out VWAP, then I'll try to jump back in this one again. Otherwise, wait for a pullback into that same support that's now held on Tesla. So, you know, take your shot, get it back in there, and then on to the next. What's also going is big reversal there on silver. This also broke the trend, but I'm just going to cancel my order there. This broke a downtrend as well. So I went to jump into it, didn't get the fill. But that's all right. There's still plenty of time. If silver's going to go all day long, I can always wait for it to dip into the prior low or just take it again off the volume-weighted average price hold. So silver looking pretty good so far as it looks incredibly strong. The other thing that's got to be on my mind, though, is if everything started with Nvidia, I'm going to cancel that 185 breakout. It's at 83. It's $2 away from that price. If everything started with Nvidia just tagged 84 and trying to pull back. Now, remember last week, like 184 was the top. So it needs to hold on to the top end of this range, 182.5. That'd be a good spot for like a consolidative dip buy here on Nvidia. Hold that VWAP, but maybe 84 is the wall instead of 185 today. At least that's what it looks like. So as this pulls back into VWAP, I actually like this one long, but there was never any dip in Nvidia. Let's see if we get VWAP in here. And big thank you to 55 guy. What does the 55 guy stand for? Just kind of curious. Thanks, guys. Been watching for 3 years. Your lessons in real-time trading have helped me tremendously. Google was fantastic this morning. Alphabet, is just fantastic in general. It's a good stock. That's all I got to say. And whether you buy dips of quality companies or, well, I mean, I think in this particular case, it wasn't even that big of a dip. Like, to me, Amazon dipped. But Google, you couldn't even go down that much off of that high. And this is not going anywhere near that 50-period moving average. You could have Google breaking out. You could have Nvidia, Alphabet, potentially Apple, all these things breaking out this week when lots of people have been talking about the pullback in the market. All-time highs. That's what a bull market does to you. What a bull market does more than anything else is it surprises you with how quickly you bounce from the dips. That's what a bull market does, in my opinion, where it's like, oh, I was considering dip buying this. Oops, too late. That's what we're seeing a lot of this season.
Yeah, I'm loving this season, man. This has been an absolute dream to trade with. We've been talking about this for a while. The sticky note is on an all-time hot streak as that continues to go. We do now have, like Neil keeps mentioning, some other chip names as well as Nvidia as well. But AMD right here, man, $3 continues to go higher. Baba has been a huge name that's helped this market out as well. That's on a nice little pullback, still up 3.5. I mean, the Chinese plays have given some sort of a pause to the market as well. Like, if China's going to be negative and we're going to get some negative reads out of China, then I could, obviously, as we sit here and we wait to see where President Trump's going to come up with, what number are those tariffs going to land at? Stocks like look, we're in Tesla, right? I mean, stocks like Tesla, I just got another piece out. I don't know if it's going to break view up. Like, I really hope it does. I hope I can come back to the gym and this will be in the money $10 again, but I don't know. So we're going to start to get some more and more out. So we've traded a lot of shares of Tesla today, right? So let's just see if we can hold on to a piece of this. I probably have about, I'm not even sure because we reloaded. I would say probably have about 35% on or so as we continue to get a little bit higher. I mean, again, if the stock wants to work great, we know the movement that this name can have and does have. So I want to still stay somewhat strong here with Tesla and see if we can just continue to support that move. We are getting more and more out of out of AMD, of course, as that breaks back down below 163. So yeah, so far so good here as the market continues its highs and the Qs are approaching all-time highs one more time again. So there it goes. Nice move. Now up 1% in the Nasdaq. ES going, and we just got some AMD. Did we just get some more Tesla there? No, we did not. We got some more AMD. So, all right, let's go handle some business. But the market right now is handling itself quite nicely, up 1%.
Yeah, up 1%, and you can trade a lot of the things in the market with BTCC in 14 years. No hacks. No excuses. They've been delivering when others aren't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500 times leverage, even Tesla, gold, you can trade Forex, and with smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you get to trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europe, and trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live also has an exclusive here for you. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box and grab a 15% deposit bonus. BTCC are where the pros trade, and now so can you. Congratulations to anyone that might be long something in the market, but guess what? You don't get to say this very often. The weed stocks are strong. Tilray is up 40% and continuing to go. What's MSOS doing? I don't really, only 22% there for MSOS, but Tilray, that's the one that might have got away, and said weed was on the mind this morning. Not much of a VWAP continuation play to be had here, but this kind of strength you can't really ignore. It's on a tear, and this is not something new. Like Tilray and a lot of these weed names have been having a fantastic run of it lately. Their MSOS had its best month in forever. Let's be real, like 70%. And now Tilray potentially, I think it's run into a bit of a wall here, this local high at 165. So a dip into 150 makes some sense. So if we dip into 150, that's where I would look for a bit of a buy zone there on Tilray. Just going to go back over and double check to see how Tesla is doing. As for me, once you break that trend line, the places to join are back at support or above the volume weighted average price. So the long end of VWAP has already happened. Now looking for the continuation play. It did this on Friday, broke the trend here, kind of lost VWAP and put in a higher low. This is where it held the volume weighted average price, and then you were in the go zone. So we already got like this trade where it goes there to there. Now looking for the dip. I'd say still about 443 or the hold of the volume weighted average price, as Tesla looks like it can be good to go finally. And yeah, I get it. I saw someone in the chat saying that SoFi looks annoying. The reason it looks annoying is because, look, Robinhood has news. It's not following the other fintech names because Robinhood is moving based on event betting markets. And that has nothing to do with SoFi. So SoFi, the stock just came off of an all-time high. I think it's doing a healthy pullback in my opinion. Like, why not? The stock just hit $30. Again, you hit an all-time high and you pull back 10%. I don't think that's terribly unreasonable for SoFi.
We can check out DraftKings. DKNG. The more I keep getting out of these winners, it's like they keep on going up. But I do think that in this environment, I mean, it is worth taking some kind of profit on these names, right? Like, I don't know if Tesla. All right, you know what? I'll take out one more piece of Tesla here. So we'll do that, and then we'll see. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with right now. It looks like a pretty good pull down for DKNG early, went into $41, right? And then now the upside play. So, you know, what is more of a pure play into this space, as we talked about, again, Neil was mentioning there about, you know, what's been driving Robinhood and what's been driving SoFi and all this kind of stuff. I mean, DraftKings is going to be the pure play in this space, and you can see what a pullback that's had recently. To that downside, right? And so DraftKings now not feeling very good about itself. You know, again, down into $40. If you did want something in the space, I think this is something worth looking at here. DKNG. You know, good pullback. You're down now 10% from its, not even, forget about its all-time highs, from its recent highs of $49 down to 42. So you're actually down even a little bit more than that. So yeah, I'm a little bit cautious here on DKNG and where we're going with this name. So just be careful, as that's a little bit of a different play than the rest of them there, as it is the pure gambling play. And we just as we mentioned, Tesla there today, there's more of an out at VWAP. So two top outs in and around 446 as you now push just back in just a little bit now as it's starting to bleed downside now, TSLA. So some good outs there and some good outs on AMD as we are almost out of it all. We have 10% left only of AMD. So I think we did pretty good to get out near the top of that one. I do want to have a quick little look in to see what else is moving around here as we'll have a look at the broader markets now and just have a look. Michael Noss talked about XBI possibly having some moves today. This is what's been going on, man. Nvidia, Apple, upside, XBI would be healthcare technology. So if we were to look into there, a little bit of a downside play as he was looking at XBI versus S&P 500, maybe some get up happening in those spaces. Vertex 155, VRTX. Bristol Myers with some new pipeline that might start to go at some point. The financials, I'm always interested in this. You know, I've got a big play on in JP Morgan, so always looking to see what that one's doing, and it's down today 1/4 point, so that's not great. Charles Schwab upside, that's another name that I look, but yeah, bucking the trend in all this space is Robinhood. We also have Coinbase up 5% as well today, so that goes
Bitcoin's
boom.
good day.
Yeah, Bitcoin really starting to make that move higher right now, 13.9. So IBIT and all that trying to go upside as well. We'll recap this and figure out how many of you are liking and subscribing to this right now as I refresh this page and get a better look at it. Let's go over to Adara.
Yeah, we'll actually start with not a small cap, but I do have one ticker to keep an eye on here with regards to news. PG&E on watch. PCG is the ticker for this one. They said a couple minutes ago here, they're expecting a roughly 9% increase in their rate base every year until 2030. So PG&E actually near day's highs. They had a strong run on Friday as well. Now here's IREN Limited. This one is not a super small cap by any means. It's about a $12 billion market cap, but they do tend to move pretty aggressively. This was a stock that was on last week as well. This was on watch, about a 12% short float, and getting a $50 price target this morning from Compass Point. Next up, we have DFLI, Dragonfly Energy. This one set to showcase its technical leadership at the Battery Show North America 2025. So DFLI with a, conference on watch, and last but not least, JFB. This one is removed from its post-market highs, but JFB Construction is on watch. This one was on our watch list as well, announcing a $44 million private placement. Before we send you back to the guys, take a moment to thank our friends at Trade the Pool. The Trade the Pool beat Ackman. Live trading competition is here. October 8th to 10th, every day, Ackman makes his move. Your mission? Outperform him. Beat his return. Prove you've got what it takes. Then the grand finale on October 13th, broadcast live on Trader TV with the Trade the Pool team live in the studio. Over $60,000 in prizes are up. Over $600,000 in prizes are up for grabs. $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000 valuation accounts. Plus, surprise giveaways during the live show. Don't just watch, compete. Beat Ackman, win big. Back to you. Scan the QR and start trading.
Thank you, Adari. That YCBD just opened back up after a halt to the upside at 140, new fresh high for them. The stock is in an absolute tear pretty much all morning. Just be careful. It looks like it's losing the bid a little bit. Being a dollar stock, the halt bands are going to be pretty tight, right? Like 10% on a stock like this is absolutely nothing. So just be careful. Could go halt to halt. I believe that was the second halt of the day. It's going to jump over Nvidia just bounced off VWAP. I'm still sitting there. Like when it bounced off VWAP, I'm not really chasing it, but it's been sliding since it hit 184. Could also give you a trend break, but I'm going to sit there waiting for the volume weighted average price. Is Nvidia up 3 points and looking incredibly strong, and Intel was going the other direction. Oh, all of a sudden. Well, here's the thing. If you like support and resistance, support turning into resistance is also a bit of a thing. It plays in both ways. So yesterday's support, or Friday's support, I should say, at 334.6 is now today's resistance at about the same thing, 34.65. So this looks to me, if it's going to be a continuation short, it's breaking trend as we speak. If this bar closes underneath, I'll put my stop at the high and I'll go short on INTC, Intel, the weakest of the chip names, I think, anyways.
Yeah, no surprise there, as definitely a pullback there from that 36 area. Good look. Yeah, AMD is the name that we're still long on AMD. We can have a quick look. Meta, maybe 1020 right now. Yeah, 1024. Yeah, so Meta actually at its day's low, so just came across the scanner here as well. So Meta, not bad. It just that was a couple minutes ago. We just hit down there 745. We do have a number coming out again here. I think business manufacturing or something. Let me just double check to see what it is. No, nothing really. Pending home sales was out at 10. I just heard it in my ear, but I don't see it. We don't have anything marked down for that. So we'll wait on that one. PLTR, the news today, not much about PLTR actually, right? So let's wait to see if we can get somewhere now with it. Palantir up to 180, very, very choppy. YCBD, again, any other names? Circle, we could have, yeah, let me take a look at IBIT right now quickly, because it is the crypto space that seems to be going off right now, up to 114. So there goes IBIT up 5%. So we definitely like to see that kind of a bounce off of some of those bids, right? We had Brian Shannon on last week. We talked a little bit about crypto with him. And this is what BTC is looking like here on a daily chart. So there's the bounce again off of 108. So if you believe in this space, you should probably be buying something in around 108. I mean, that's one dip down a couple weeks ago. September, actually not even a couple weeks ago. This is the daily chart, right? Yeah. September 25th. What? No, that's not right. Monday. Yeah. Okay. August. Is this oh yeah, I guess there's that many days since then. Okay, yeah, daily chart, all right. So right into there last week, coming in. Well, how could that be a daily chart if each one of these candles is definitely not a day? Right there. Okay, well, whatever. We'll get that in. That just says, Sunday the 31st of August. My bad. So right in there. I was reading this as Saturday the 30th of September, which is obviously right now, not even happened yet.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, so the 25th I was reading, but no. So you've bounced off there at the beginning of the month, and then you just bounced off there at the end of the month. So again, I think this is a decent spot right now for crypto if you are interested in it. This area right here, right now, 108. So that's been really holding as well. And then Ethereum, same way. So we can have a quick look over here. Ethereum and the US dollar. we could just go right here on Coinbase. So this one, again, right back there into the beginning of the month. Nice move there back into 3,900 and an absorption of that back to 42. So there are definite plays here in this space. Just be careful with what you're doing in crypto. Make sure that you do have your stop orders set. But that might have been a great bottom of 3,800. So relief, I think, in the crypto space right now for many traders. So yeah, good movement there for ETH and for Bitcoin over the weekend. So yeah, check your accounts, man. We'll double check Solana and all that. There's crypto updates that happen throughout the day, but XRRP, is that the one?
I don't think we
XRP? Yeah, I don't know if we have them all. Oh, there it is. This is the daily ETF for Ripple.
Oh,
so
we do have
it.
Okay.
Yeah, a quick little look at this, a double the ETF. So that's up 8%. So yeah, up 4% as well, as there comes to the downside, XRP, right? So this is a double ETF. So just some looks over there. If you're in the crypto space, today's a good day to potentially check your account as opposed to yesterday. Still down week over week.
Oh, the thing you should be checking your account on is the weed names.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Let's be like,
yeah.
Like if you were looking
I'm not
to put
checking my account on weed names. That's for
well, I mean, just relative to what it was
yeah.
before, right? Like it's been pretty nasty. You pull up monthly charts of any of those, and everyone's been there. I can't even remember the name of the one that I lost on, as one of our friends was like, "Yo, buy this one. It's gonna be really good." Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But Tesla, I'm jumping back in. When it broke the trend, it was at 443. It just did a bottoming tail wick here at 443, and then kind of closed trying to break this 444 level. Got in right there at 444. Still battling that level. But if we lose that low, then I'm out. If we get back into the VWAP, then we're scalping some out in front of the volume weighted average price. Oh, Intel came so close. Here, I'll show you what happened on Intel. Remember I was saying that trend line on Intel? So very close to breaking the trend on Intel, and now it's trying to break out as well. So it could still, it could fail this little breakout here on Intel, and then I still go short. But for now, Intel seems like it wants to join this party. It'd be kind of crazy if that one went green today after the dip that it already had. But I still have my eyeballs on that for a trend break. The good thing about a trend break, like a breakout, if it doesn't go, then you don't have to be in the trade whatsoever. And wow, tlry now 42%. This is what I mean by the weed stocks. Still just climbing higher and higher. There's been really no pullback at all here on tlry. MSOS did have one, but tlry, CGC, individual names faring very well because the president tweeted about CBD oil being potentially a game changer for elder healthcare. Whether or not that ends up being true doesn't seem to matter. They have heavy short floats on those names, and that's how you get a squeeze.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt it's a game changer. It just needs approval. I mean, CBD and cannabis, I think, is going to be revolutionary for what they're going to be able to do, rather than opioids and all that shit that you just get addicted to, right? Messes with your brains. But watch out for CBD there. And of course, we saw what happened with Kenvue, KVEU, as we saw some negativity pass through about Tylenol and acetaminophen, of course. Not just acetaminophen. I don't know. I'm not sure. If what the next major developer, manufacturer of that is, but obviously Kenvue with Tylenol takes a hit to the downside. So you talk negatively about a space, this is what happens. You talk positively, and of course, Neil just highlighting there about Mary Jane. So watch out for that one. All right, so just looking back at what we want to trade with, we do have our stock visualizer that's open, but I also did want to look at some names, again, some sector-specific names, so we can maybe do a little bit of that as well. But just looking at what we're talking about so far here today, yeah, this is what's been voted on. Marvell. Ooh, is Marvell back up to 84.50? Okay, so that's probably a break stock. We can definitely have a look over there with Marvell. I know you're in Tesla. Tesla's falling down right now, so got to watch out for that. Oklo, 120, another 8% there. Novartis up 11%, as that one seems to have some legs to the upside. Tesla, let's go, man. Pause this. We need Tesla to get going just a little bit for my account. Webull, nicely trading there. Webull, man, we really like you. Up today, up another 1%. DFLI, to definitely check out that, as it looks like it's trying to make a move into $1 there, up 34%. Oracle, 282. What's up with that? So Oracle continues to get to the downside as well. We'll repause that and get it going, but it looks like for now up 7%. It's Robinhood leading the way, and wow, another absolute monster day for Robinhood. It's a good thing we dumped out of some SoFi, but when we did get out of SoFi, we should have dumped it into Robinhood because there it goes, man. One going one way, one going the other. Let's go Tesla. That's going to be a day changer for me. If that can go back upside, that'd be nice. But look at Robinhood continuously going on their betting market, continues to go higher. This is definitely a bubble stock. I mean, if AI is bubble, what is this? There goes Robinhood, monster move higher. I still think you want to buy the name. It's just what an extension that we've had on this play. Up 30% in 3 weeks. That's might be worth taking a little bit of profit. You know, we've done it on Intel. I would take a little bit off on Robinhood, but you can always put a stop too if you break below 130. Maybe take a little bit off. That way, if it continues to ride higher, then you can capture that kind of a profit. Very similar to what we did on JP Morgan, right? I mean, every day it seems to be going higher right now, JPM, but we're still taking some out as it goes up to the upside. So even with Palantir, taking some out in and around here as well, not a horrible idea. So we're just hovering on this. What was your opinion there, Joe?
I trimmed some Robinhood at one.
Perfect, smart man over there. Joe also trimming some Robinhood as well. Price is lower than where we are now, but that's okay. Still goes higher. That's the thing. You want to have skin in the game, right? It's like we could be smart as hell getting out of Intel, but where's it going to go tomorrow? I don't know. So what am I going to do with the cash? Right now, I'm just sitting on it. It's earning that 4% in the high yield, so we just sit there. We sell this on 35.70 or so on Friday. It's only $1 difference from where it is now. This name could still rip. So who knows? Make your bed and lie in it. That's all I can tell everybody, because that way you're responsible for what you do, and I'm responsible for the trade.
And it's worth mentioning that Intel went to like a pretty ridiculously
that's why we
important level.
I got it.
Right? Like this 36, go all the way to July of 2024. Like that's like, if you're not gonna respect that as kind of like a technical level, like I don't know. Like outside of there, we said last week that you break that and you should be in the 40s. So it's not that it can't go further, but no one ever went broke taking profits. YCBD just continues to go here. So now 140% just opened up after another halt. And like I said, because it's a dollar stock or now a $1.50 stock, the halts could come fast and furious on this because it doesn't have to move all that much to go into volatility halts. Sometimes the bands, they shouldn't care whether it's under $1 or over $1. Like I think the bands from like $1 to like $2.50 or so probably could be widened a little bit to allow for some more reasonable trading. But that's just my 2 cents there. YCBD looking like it's making a power move in here. And we haven't talked too much about crypto, but let's just throw it out here that Mara's having another big day. Both Mara and Riot last week have been on a tear. Mara is doing it again, bouncing technically perfectly off of
Tesla.
Oh, I mean, look at this $15 to $16 level anyways. Like accumulation level, breaks away from it. What does it do? Buys right back off that accumulation. I think Mara off this 50-200 period seems like an awesome long, and you got yourself a potential breakout trade. Just watch out for $19. Someone really, really likes to sell there for a while. Adara?
Yeah, just keep an eye here on RKT Rocket Companies. This one is being flagged here as a long idea by Banyan Hill, saying you can double your money on this company. So RKT, a little bit of a volume spike on this one. Back to you.
All right, we're getting a volley. Thanks, there. We can definitely have a look at RKT, but we just got some more out on Tesla at $444.50. So that is a $2.
Another one.
All right, we'll ride the bull right there as that continues to go to the upside. RKLB. All right, here we go. Rocket Labs. So let's have a whoa.
Well, that's a different.
What did she bring up?
She said Rocket Companies.
Oh, Rocket.
Yeah,
Oh, Rocket.
which we never look at. Rocket Labs we look at all the time.
I was going to say, but even Rocket Labs up here, $47.
That sucks a beast.
Okay. Pretty nice play there. Yeah, I remember I'm still in this name, I believe. I was in this name a long time ago when this was a GameStop. This was a meme stock,
yeah.
For a while. But yeah, Rocket Mortgages, it changed their name now, Rocket Companies. I should double check my account on this one because we're in this as it continues to go a little bit higher. We're in a very, very small because it was a meme place. We always try to hold on to a little bit, so I probably have 10 or 15% or so of that one. All right, so nice move upside there. Watch out to see if it holds this. Again, we like that. Let's see what CCL, they had their earnings today as well. Carnival Cruise, maybe Adara, you can review what those were, because there goes Carnival Cruise Lines. Big movement to the bottom, $32.50 all the way down now, down 3% on earnings day one. as they hit right away at 9:30 this morning, and downside play there for CCL. So maybe not a great earnings look there for Carnival. Derek can get that when she sees fit. But hey, man, we got to just pat ourselves on the back there a little bit, because Tesla, one second.
Carnival was a double
okay,
beat.
go ahead. Double beat, yeah, well, double slap in your face, down 4% right now. But there it is right there. Tesla, good out again, man, 444.50. Like, it just dipped down again to 444 and change. So it's trying to figure itself out. So I'm happy to get out of pieces here, as we just get of like 10% every time pretty much of what we have left. So still trying to hold out, My next offer here on Tesla, 445.40. So right in around here, just before view up. Let's see if it can get back going again. We traded tons of this today, on my account. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on there. I only have 2 trades today. AMD long, which is really holding the day, and then that Tesla trade. I'm going to take another piece out on AMD, because this is as well barcoding. If anything, the market looks like it might be downside now as we broke through the 50-period moving average and look to even go lower right now. So Tesla, 444, having some problems. Okay, here we go, RFID trader, good. I hope this is some negative feedback. I'm always looking for something, how I can improve or whatever on trading. So here we go, Sean, greetings. Highly respect you. Well, thank you, RFID trader. One observation, do you really need to highlight your wins? Yeah, I do, because unfortunately, I like to bring that up. Yeah, well, the gloating, this is not gloating about the wins. Unfortunately, I can just tell you, Neil can tell you how many wins he has and how many wins I have, but I try to give you guys, like, I'm only trading 2 names, so when we lose on them, it's like I tell you that we're losing on this trade, right? AMD, unfortunately, honestly, if we don't bring it up, it just sits there at the bottom. So I'm just trying to show you trades, and I only have 2 trades. If I had more trades, I would definitely discuss them, but it's good to have winners on, and I know today's been obviously a really tough day. So that's part of why we're talking like this and trying to show the winners. So I do respect that. And the one thing that you could always do is just ask us if we are green or red. And if I only have 2 trades on, I'm going to be talking about this trade over and over again. And, so that's just sort of, obviously, I'm not the news guy. I'm just a trader. So when I have losers, I'll give you guys those trades. And when we have winners, I'll give them to you as well, right? And so Tesla today, not a winner. We're trying to let this thing get to the upside here and see if it can go. But that's the kind of feedback that honestly I want as much as possible, because if I don't talk about my trades, nobody will, right? So I have to highlight them to some extent. So I want to thank you for pointing that out. My hat's off to you, RFID trader. And I hope that you also have a very positive day, week, month, year, everything. So shout out to you, RFID, mad respect.
It just comes down to what your approach is to trading. Because to me, I'll spend more time talking about my decisions than anything else, because I don't care about a trade after it's done, to be perfectly honest with you, and I never have. I care about the decision that's coming next on it at the end of the day. So Tesla's been bad, but I told you exactly where I was going to get in. There's my break. There's the low. So it's binary. And I'm out. When it breaks, and if it goes back up, it is what it is. I'll be flat today because EA's been great. And we've had some losers, but that's fine, because the decision-making process is all that matters to me. What's the next available trade? I go on from one trade, which was a trend break twice, long in Tesla, to simply to Intel. What we say about Intel? Intel, support to resistance. Weak stock today, no particular by the way, there's no particular catalyst for Intel to be down today. You can make the argument that on a day where the rest of the chip names have gone strong again, like Nvidia and AMD, then Intel's taking the back seat. That could be fair, but it doesn't really matter why. Support turns into resistance, and it broke the trend line, so I jump into the short when it breaks trend, and my stop's at that high. So it breaks the high, I'm out. Otherwise, we're in it. I told you guys I'd be in it. Based on the way that I look at deals, that EA was overpriced, and so as long as it holds VWAP, I'm going to short VWAP. I haven't gotten anything out till it presses. Actually, it's in the 60s again, so that's where support has been, so I'll get another out there. But it hasn't gotten back into VWAP to get me in. I got to zoom in because the gap is so big. It hasn't actually gotten back into the volume-weighted average price. It's actually holding 203 even. So I might just short the 203 even, effectively, to try to be net short this stock all day long. And I gave the logic as to why I thought it was overvalued in terms of the deal. Specifically said in the press release that this thing is not expected to close until first quarter 2027. anybody can do a fair value analysis of this and probably come up with a number closer to $199 to $200 in terms of fair value. And that's not even accounting for the fact that you have some risk that the deal wouldn't go through in the first place. So that's one of the things that you want to look at if you're ever trying to trade these. And it's not often that you get one of these that actually trades with some kind of momentum. Day one, I think, might be well, we'll see. Because I shouldn't say day one will be the only chance, because Activision moved around a ton because it was a gigantic deal. This is $55 billion. Hasn't been one this big since X, Twitter.
Here's a monster one. We'll gloat again. We'll give some props up to everybody that has $3 right now on AMD, as there it goes right there back up to the top side. So all good. Thank you, Gworev. Thank you to all the real traders that are in the chat. We do appreciate all of you. So we'll props that up. We'll fire off the hot dog cannon for if you're winning or if you're losing. And obviously those of you that watch have to know that you got to celebrate and discuss everything on the show, or else you just don't look genuine, right? And so we have two trades today. We have AMD and we have Tesla, and that's it. So we're waiting to see if this one goes. SMCI, we really like that one. And let's just go on and see SMCI in the chat. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But nice upside move here. EA Sports, yeah, $55 billion, $210 in cash over there. So yeah, Robinhood, I feel like, is definitely the missed opportunity of the day. Look, we'll do what's for lunch when we come back. Robinhood now up 8% and ripping. So yeah, good on you, Robinhood, and good on everybody that owns some of this. SoFi not doing that, but Robinhood up 8%, the big one on the day. All right, Adara, people are wondering if there's anything on CLF as well, but let's go over to her and figure out what she's up to. Adara.
We have to talk about these sectors. The one elephant in the room in terms of weakness, really the only outstanding weak sector that I'm seeing here is energy minerals. Utilities a little red as well, but energy minerals the weakest here. And they're just trading lower as a group, I'm seeing, due to expected global supply growth. So there's going to be, I guess, supply expected to grow. Crude oil struggling here. Now, producer manufacturing looking really good. Applied materials and LRCX to the upside. Transportation looking great here. Commercial services looking really good. Finance a little bit more mixed, but we have to talk about these tech sectors. AppLovin is a standout here in technology services. This is up 7% at a new all-time high. And I do have to address, I saw no news on this, but this at one point spiked $30 in a single 3-minute candle, then immediately gave up the move. So APP, very strong today, very volatile. Watch out. Electronic technology, with the exception of Apple and Boeing and Intel as well, generally pretty strong. AMD, Nvidia, Micron, all nicely to the upside now. The reason INTC is not joining its semiconductor friends to the upside could be that these reports from the Wall Street Journal last week suggesting that TSM and INTC are in talks were denied by Taiwan Semiconductor. So it looks like Intel maybe not calling Taiwan Semi, or at least they're not in talks for this partnership as of right now. Back to you.
I hope Intel can go back up.
What the heck happened to Wolfspeed?
I don't know. Wolfspeed was on the imbalances a lot last week.
Is this a reverse split?
Up 154%. Or 154,000. Sorry, 1.54K right there, Wolf. My news thing isn't working, so I don't really have anything right there. But you know what is working, though, in sympathy with our guy, EA Sports. Watch out, guys. This might be gloating. We have Roblox right now. I mean, absolutely going to all time. I don't know if it's all time, but it might be. Right here, Roblox. This is a name that we were buying, like, we actually bought a lot of this thing down here at $32, and we bought it heading into summer, thinking, this is 2 summers ago, thinking that, you know, all kids, which I think we were right, Roblox and Instagram are like, well, I'm saying, like, the minute someone's born, they just instantly get a Roblox account and an Instagram account. But there goes Roblox right there, straight up to the upside. So again, if video games are going to be pretty hot, you saw Activision got bought out last year as well, and now EA Sports taking it as well this year. So there it goes, man. Roblox up another 4 and a bit percentage points. And this is Roblox on the daily from eSignal. So, I mean, boom, straight up to the upside. The only reason I want to double check is that I just want to make sure that didn't have a huge move because it did, yeah, I was gonna say, because it did IPO and just came with straight fire on the IPO when everything was hot in 2021, 2022. So they've been up here before, but I mean, well taken out. I feel like this little break area in and around here, 64.70, that takeout, get all this garbage out of there and get going upside. Probably, I haven't taken out, I was like probably holding 15 or 20% of that right now, but this is probably 4 or 5x just from being long at 30 there. We'd got out into, as we exited out of it, right into here. So $60 back then, because as the kids were getting back into school, we were getting out. So back in here, November, $55, $60. There's Christmas going over. So, hey man, even heading into Christmas season now, maybe even Roblox continues to work out. But if you wanted to put a stop somewhere, 127 and change. But yeah, here we go, man. Like I said, take this for what it's worth, as Neil mentioned here. This now is 330 in the money. So that's a good trade. Tesla right now, 240 in the money and back at a level. So I'm going to take another piece out right now on Tesla as it continues to climb. And it's just another trade, another out, continues to go higher. So Tesla, so far so good there. We're sitting right now 3, 5, 6 and change right now in the money on these two trades. So breaking news from Adair, and we'll get back.
You keep an eye on Smith & Wesson, SWBI. I'm seeing reports that the U.S. is withdrawing regulations on firearm export controls that reverses previous restrictions. So they will be permitting civilian firearms and ammunition exports, allowing for their sale outside the country. So exports here for firearm sales. Nice push to the upside for SWBI. Back to you.
So just for anyone that's actually looking at Wolfspeed, it's now halted down. So I don't know what's going on. My understanding was these guys were going bankrupt, Wolfspeed. That was the last thing I remember us discussing on Friday about this name, and it looks like a reverse split, but I don't know what's going on. So to me, not going to trade it and just going to warn everybody, unless you have some serious idea of what's happening here, just be pretty careful with Wolf. It does look like it's going nuts, and I see. Yeah, see, I'm even hearing it now. That they went Chapter 11
they're delisted.
and were delisted. So why this even opened doesn't make sense to me. And hopefully no one went long when it opened either. So yeah, Yala Studio, can someone please explain what's going on to Wolf? My understanding is they went bankrupt and should be delisted. You got it at $2 and your position is on, not my buy position is on 2, and I don't know what that necessarily means, and I'm not sure why it even traded, but it's now halted to the downside, so be careful. I wouldn't suggest anybody trade this unless you have a really firm idea what's going to go on here, and it doesn't make any sense to me as far as I'm concerned. So that's a hard pass in even looking at that name, but we'll pass along any updates if we do get them as to what's going on if you happen to be in position in that stock. Nvidia continues to trend higher. It hasn't really slapped the volume weighted average price at any point. So it hasn't really given you too many opportunities to get into it. I do want to join this trend if we can, and we'll see if we can't get this one. And during the midday, it's going to have to be off of VWAP. Let's go to Adara for Money Talks.
U.S. dollar here on its second straight losing day, but as I mentioned, we are generally in an uptrend from those lows that we made on Fed Week just under 2 weeks ago. Now, in terms of any economic data on watch, we already got our one real number of the day, the pending homes index, though we did have the Dallas Fed manufacturing print coming at 10:30 a.m. Not really a big market mover, but that one was below estimates. Now, tomorrow we will get some more economic data of note. We'll get the JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m., but the biggest print this week by far is on Friday. It's at 8:30 a.m., and it is the non-farm payrolls. Keep an eye as well on the market and the U.S. dollar today as we get meetings between U.S. President Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. They'll be having a press conference at 1:15 p.m., and they're set to meet here outside the White House at 1 p.m. Here's the Fed funds tool just to keep an eye here on what the rate expectations are for that October meeting. It's crazy, guys. It's actually 1 month from today. So 1 month from today, October 29th, 2025, we will get the next rate decision. It is widely expected to be a 25 basis point cut. 89.3% of participants are still pricing that in. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adair. Yeah, I was actually going to look at that, and I actually forgot about it when we were talking about it before, but there's 89.3% coming for October, right? So the next one is not for a while, October the 29th. So we have data coming this week, including claims on Friday. So that will change for sure what this looks like. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on with jobless claims coming in on Friday. So yeah, Rumble and DJT. Let's have a quick look. What's going on with DJT these days as well? We'll wait to see if there's going to be any love for TikTok or anything with DJT. And they mentioned like a little bit last week that there was going to be some releases about Michael Dell or Larry Ellison and these guys getting involved with the TikTok deal. DJT is at a great level. We've seen the similar levels here for GameStop as well that had bounced off clean for GME in and around that 22 area, now up to 27. So again, some of these stocks will base out real nice like and then pop, right? And so here's 22 for a long time. It's like I kept hearing it from my guy over there, Joey Snaps, about Snapchat, and like we were I was touting this right here, this day, the day that it broke. I remember it was this day right here, $7.40. I said, you know what? We have those glasses coming through with Meta. Obviously, I remember Snapchat gave it a go at some point there as well. So maybe some positive movement there for Snapchat. Now, sure, we didn't get in. I didn't get into this name, but 740, 750, up to 880, 885. I thought that would have been pretty close to the maximum. I think we said 850. If you could go 750 to 850, you'd be pretty happy with Snapchat. So if you were able to do that, then you know maybe heed the similar advice and say rate today, take advantage of this 4% move higher and get a little bit out there on Snapchat. I would recommend doing that, but again, it's up to you guys. And if it can get up to the 200 period, that's $9. So we'll look to get out a little bit more of Snapchat if you guys were in that one. Going around here, the hot list today, this is just kind of what's floating around here on eSignal. AMD, again, don't mean to gloat, but 350 in the money. AMD right there. The very first trade that any of us took today is right there, and that was on AMD, so that was a monster. All right, and then we have, I don't know what's up with ZURA. Zura Bio would be another name that's kicking out right there. Rigetti falling back in. Zura Bio up 39% as that's starting to go upside there as well. And then we just looked at, Rigetti's on here. We haven't looked too much at Quantum today. It looks like the power names were up, right? SMR was up. Intel's still down 3%. Robinhood here up as well. Tilray up 40% and going. Tesla bouncing around 440. Doesn't look like it's doing a whole heck of a lot in those areas. But yeah, so far so good. And I think we've covered a lot of this, man. SoundHow down a little bit today as well. So just a couple different names hitting around for you traders today. Looks like a good one, but got to be specific in what you're looking at. Amazon 221. That was a great bounce. At 220. All right, news from Adair. We'll hear from Neil, then we'll figure out what's for lunch.
Just keep an eye on any energy-related plays right now. I'll just pull up the Nasdaq for you guys. So the US, an official here from the U.S. Energy Department is saying that the Trump administration will be distributing $625 million to increase coal-based production. So coal-based power production, keep an eye on any of these names. I did see a little bit of a drop in Oklo and NNE, but they're both trading in a range right now. So just be aware here. BTU, I'm seeing now, is apparently the stock to look at for this. So we'll pull up BTU. BTU on watch. Again, guys, the story here is that an official from the U.S. Department of Energy, and there you go, BTU to the upside, is going to be releasing $625 million in funds here to expand power generation fueled by coal. Back to you.
So I'm just also checking for news on PayPal here. A couple of questions were asked in the chat. One of them was what's going on with PayPal. I haven't seen any, I don't see anything in particular, but then my news service has been kind of on the fritz this morning. For lack of a better term, it just hasn't been working well. Sorry, guys. But PayPal certainly has a buy program going on right now, and there's nothing standing in its way. I didn't realize how far this had actually pulled back, but this could be that close and the breakout above the 50 period that we were discussing last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. But PayPal looking strong. We'll keep our ear to the ground for news there. And then there was a question, more my thoughts on Oracle word. Nothing good. Sorry. Oracle lost the top of the gap after earnings on Friday, and you're getting some continuation today. So with the market 0.8% up, this is 0.8% down. Seems like we are headed for a gap fill back into 260 on Oracle. They put a target on their own backs with that heavy guidance, so it is what it is. And now they're just continuing to get punished for it. It's like all of that guide was reliant on OpenAI. And when that came out, people started selling this thing outside of a couple of strong days. Like, and nobody, you're going to have a ridiculous guidance that gives you a 30% move to the upside, and then it's all based on one company needing to fulfill its growth measures for you to get there. Yeah, some skepticism here with Oracle. I think there's going to be a value at some point in the dip, but not yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we talked about that deal with PayPal and Google a couple, like Neil was saying, like
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was a while ago. I kind of upgraded the stock in my mind at that point, saying that it has at least a chance to do something. So, you know, this kind of a move, although it's not a surprise that we're finally breaking this level, I did think that, you know, that break right there might have been something as well. So, you know, just be careful if you are on this name, and there's obviously a possibility for it to get faded right back in because we had done this already. So PayPal, yeah, definitely odd one. All right, let's figure out what's for lunch to start the week here today. So, all right, today we did have, there was fresh omelets with roasted veggies and cheese this morning. So I think that was pretty good. There was some goat cheese involved in that as well. So Tesla, good couple outs there. It is falling back just a little bit. But today's, oh no, not a great start to the week. However, today, we've got tilapia again there today, but today it says garlic buttered, so not Cajun tilapia. So blackened. It was blackened last couple times we've had it. Today is garlic buttered baked tilapia with vegetable pilaf, steamed bok choy, and chef's choice salad.
I wish I had more thumbs or hands, so I give it 4 thumbs down. It's just that we keep getting tilapia.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be on our salads, but we'll see if it is. I'm just gonna rate it against the blackened tilapia because, you know, that way I can see. It seems like they're not switching anytime soon off of tilapia. So let's just compare it versus the blackened tilapia.
Before we get out of here, I'm just gonna read the headline that finally showed up on Wolfspeed here. Okay. I'm just going to read it for everybody here. This is what we expected. NYSE to delist Wolfspeed old, and it is in quotes, common stock, effective October 10th, 2025, following the company's emergence from Chapter 11 and reincorporation in Delaware, trading suspended as of September 29th. That's today, with shareholders to receive substituted new company stock under reorganization plan. So this headline's finally hitting the wire. I mean, hindsight being 2020, like if that headline had been there when it opened the first time, I feel like that would have been a pretty easy short, but I don't think anybody knew what was going on when it was at $19. And I just saw that headline after. It's now at 10:35, and the tap at $8. It wouldn't have been locates anyways, but that's yikes. So yeah, the story's now out there on Wolfspeed, guys. So if you happen to be in it, good luck. I hope no one got trapped at that top. If you see a stock moving, please, if you don't know what's going on and it makes no sense, you don't have to be in it. Because if you just saw it go up, ooh, let's go, Wolfspeed's going crazy. You know, like I hate to say what could have happened if you try to chase that long, but as you can see, it's lost like $11 from that high and could go even lower. All right, so during lunchtime, we'll be looking for Nvidia off the volume weighted average price, see if we can get there finally, and hopefully not eating tilapia. That is...
All right, we can't barely hear you guys, so we will say bye to you for now. We do have mad amounts of renovations going on behind us. All right, good day today, and we'll try to get some more winners on the midday with both Joe and Sharif. Let's throw it over to these guys. Nvidia starting to go up to the upside now again.